Quantum Kill. By Ashenafi. Int. Calvin's private jet, flying, sunset. The year is 2085. Billionaire Calvin Sebastian, 34, a good-looking man, sits in his luxurious private jet, working on his laptop. A stewardess approaches Calvin, carrying a glass of scotch with a tray. She places the drink on Calvin's table. Calvin, thanks. Stewardess, you welcome. She gives him a beautiful smile and walks away. Calvin grabs the scotch, takes a sip, and continues to work on the program. Calvin compiles the file and runs the application. It is a video game. We see Calvin combating with his copy in a wild martial art. It looks real as if he were fighting his twin brother. EXT Calvin's private jet, flying, sunset. An established shot of the airplane flying in the air, cutting through the cloud that is beautifully contaminated by the twilight. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City in the year 2084, satellite view of New York City from space, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, United Nations Headquarters, Central Park, Empire State Building, One World Trade Center, Unisphere in Queens, Times Square, futuristic structures, aerial view of New York City in the night, and millions of cars driving in the streets of New York City. EXT Calvin's Mercedes convertible, moving, night. Calvin drives in the street of New York City. Int. Calvin's Mercedes convertible, moving, night. Calvin reaches into his pocket, pulls out a beautiful diamond necklace with a heart shape, and looks at it. Calvin puts the necklace back in his pocket and focuses on the road. EXT Calvin's Mercedes convertible, moving, night. Medium shot of Calvin's car as he continues to drive in the street of New York City. EXT Calvin's villa, night. An established shot of Calvin's multimillion villa. We see a water fountain that has a sculpture of Venus, beautiful garden, swimming pool and tennis court. Calvin's Mercedes convertible. Calvin comes driving, parks his car in front of his house, gets out of the car, and walks toward his house. Int. Calvin's house, bedroom, night. Calvin's wife Sarah Sebastian, 26, and her lover Robert Anderson, 35, are making love. Int. Calvin's house, living room, night. Calvin comes up to the living room. He hears people having sex upstairs. Calvin slowly climbs the staircase, walks down the corridor, and comes up to the bedroom. Calvin looks through the door opening. Calvin's house, bedroom. Sarah and Robert continue to make love. Sarah is on top, ridding Robert cowgirl style. Calvin's house, alleyway. Calvin is disappointed. He says, fuck, softly, holds his emotion in check, turns around, and walks away without disturbing them. Calvin's house, bedroom. Robert and Sarah reach climax and take deep breaths as they lie in each other's arms. They then kiss. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City in the night, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, futuristic buildings and aerial view of New York City. Int. Blues Club, night. It is a fancy bar and club. We see in glamorous people, elites, attractive women conversing and enjoying their outings. Calvin sits at a table with a glass of whiskey. He seems sad. A girl named Mia Carter sits at the bar with a glass of martini, checking out Calvin. She is an extremely attractive young woman. On the stage, a girl named Sienna sings a love song, Trouble by Taylor Swift. Calvin turns his eyes and looks at Mia. She gives him a soft beautiful smile. Calvin returns her smile. Calvin takes a sip from his scotch and continues to enjoy the music. Mia grabs her drink and walks up to Calvin. Mia, hi. Calvin, hi. Mia, I saw you looking at me. Do you mind if I join you? Calvin, not at all. Mia pulls a chair and sits in front of Calvin. Mia, I'm Mia. Calvin, Calvin. They shake hands, greeting. Mia, what's up? Calvin, nothing much. Mia, you look sad. Calvin, I'm sad. Mia, what happened? Calvin, I just saw my wife having sex with another man at the house. Mia, that's sad. Calvin takes a sip. Mia takes a sip as well. There is a silent moment. She then. Mia, life is a bitch. She breaks your heart when the least expected. Calvin, Robert Foster said, in 3 words I can sum up everything I've learned about life, it goes on. But what he didn't tell you is, quoting Bernstein in Citizen Kane, memory is the greatest curse that's ever been inflicted on the human race. Mia, I doubt it. The information that we store in our memories, along with our thought processing skills, help us overcome any obstacle. Calvin, are you sure? Mia, it's common sense. Calvin, what's common sense? Mia, you just have to say, I don't give a fuck. I'll get on with my life and don't look back. Calvin, I might have to agree with you. But sometimes, you wish you could go back in time and change few things, you know, like you see a girl who is going to break your heart in the future and put you in a bad mood. You turn around and walk away. Mia, I know how you feel. When bad things happen, we think it's the end of the world. But soon we get past that and good things begin to happen in our life. Maybe, Bob is right, life goes on. Calvin, you're optimistic. But seriously, don't you wish there is a place where you go, to get certain memories erased, trick your subconscious mind, and move on with your life? Mia, you have no idea. I've been praying for that day to come. Perhaps, someone will invent a machine that erases painful memories selectively, you know, like this classic movie I watched, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, starring Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. Calvin, I think I've seen it long time ago when I was a kid. Mia, they had a fight. First, she erased him from her memory. Then he began to erase her. Later, he regretted erasing her from his memory, because he was deleting some of the best time he had spent with her. Calvin, it's a sad movie. Mia, the saddest movie I have ever seen in my life. But Buddha said, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. So why don't you tell me about yourself? Calvin, what do you want to know? Mia, what's your wildest fantasy? Calvin, that's not something I'm just going to tell to anyone. Mia, I'm not just anyone. Think of me, I'm your genie. You had already rubbed me without your knowledge. I'm here to find out what your wildest fantasy is, and see what I can do about it. Calvin smiles in wonder. Calvin, if you put it down like that. I want to be the first man to make love to a woman on the moon. Mia, that's original. But I don't know if I can make your wish come true. There is no atmosphere in the moon. No oxygen. There is no enough gravity to hold you down. You might even die if you don't have a proper spacesuit that astronauts wear. Calvin, that won't be a problem. I can bring my own oxygen glass box. I had it already built. I was going to surprise my wife. You know, a trip to Luna, and become the first couple to do it in the moon. I guess I'll just have to postpone everything indefinitely till I get my head out of the clouds. Mia, trust me, you can do it in the moon, you can do it in Mars, you can even do it in Arctic till the ice melts. Sex is sex everywhere you go. Yet, the best thing about sex is that you are doing it with someone that you are attracted to, till you feel the pleasure at the core of your soul, and have enchanting orgasms. Calvin, you make sense. Mia, anyhow, things happen for a reason. Calvin, what would the reason be? Mia, you're here with me. Calvin, playing along, tell me about it. Mia, nothing can go wrong when you're with me. Calvin, is that a fact? Mia, absolutely. She gets up, walks up to him, out of nowhere, produces her underwear, puts it in front of him, on the table, crosses her leg over his thighs and sits on his lap, facing him. Mia, just fuck me till your dick melts inside my vagina. If falling in love with you means hell, I can't wait to get burnt inside out. She puts her arms around him. They kiss French. He collects her skirt, caresses her sweet butt, and squeeze her buttocks as they continue to kiss lasciviously. Int. Mia's house, living room, night. A seductively furnished living room. It contains a matching love seat and queen sleeper sofa and coordinated pillows and a glass IKEA coffee table. The door opens from outside. Calvin and Mia enter, kissing passionately. Mia removes Calvin's clothes fanatically. Calvin tears Mia's dress. He kisses her breasts, sucks her nipple. They kiss more passionately. Calvin then turns her around, pushes her against the sofa and begins to fuck her behind, doggy style. Mia makes all kinds of passionate sexual sounds. He pulls her hair, kisses her lips while entering her, and turns her around. They kiss French lasciviously as they continue to make love. Int. Mia's house, bedroom, night. Calvin and Mia continue to make love. It's steamy, sensual, seductive, and passionate. We stay with them with series cuts. EXT Calvin's house, morning. An established shot of Calvin's house. We see police officers, media personalities, TV vans, law enforcement agencies' cars, paramedics, and bystanders moving in chaos. Calvin's Mercedes. Calvin comes driving and parks his car next to his house. The paparazzi and journalists quickly rush to Calvin's car. Calvin gets out of the car. The journalists begin to ask him all kinds of questions as he walks toward his house. Journalist 1, your wife Sarah Sebastian and a man named Robert Anderson are found dead. Did you kill them? Calvin can't believe what he is hearing, but says nothing as he continues to walk toward his house. Camera lights flash on him from all angles. Journalist 2, do you know who might have killed them? Journalist 3, why did you kill them? Journalist 4, were you jealous, is this crime of passion? The police officers push the journalists aside and let Calvin enter his house. Int. Calvin's house, bedroom, day. The dead body of Robert is on the floor. The body of Sarah lies on the bed nude. The blanket is covered with blood. We see symbols on Sarah's body, 2 cross marks on her cheeks, cross of Lorraine on her forehead. A major cross consists of a vertical line crossed by 6 shorter horizontal bars on her midsection, from her chest down to her belly, and 2 small crosses on her breasts, 2 more crosses of Lorraine on her thighs. It is done with a knife. Rose petals are sprinkled all over the crime scene. Agent Alicia Love, 28, and FBI forensic team Tyler and Megan are in the middle of collecting evidence. Dr. Alec James examines the bodies. Forensic photographer, Ryan, takes photos of Sarah and Robert's corpses. Dr. James, to Alicia, the killer must have come through the door silently and stabbed them while they were sleeping. He then put him on the floor and drew those symbols on the girl. Int. Calvin's villa, living room, day. Calvin comes up to the main living room. Agent Mark Morris walks up to him. Mark, hi. I'm Agent Morris. Mark shows Calvin his badge. Calvin, what's going on? Mark, the housekeeper found the bodies of your wife Sarah Sebastian and Mr. Anderson in the main bedroom this morning. Where were you last night, between 2 a.m. to 3 a.m.? Calvin, I was with a girl named Mia Carter. I spent the night at her house. I just came from there. Mark, what's her address? Calvin, 4567 Manhattan, New York. Mark writes it down. Mark, do you by any chance know who might have killed them? Calvin, no, I don't. Mark, do you mind if I take your fingerprint? Calvin, not at all. Mark takes Calvin's fingerprints with a futuristic advanced fingerprint scanner. Int. Calvin's house, bedroom, morning. The forensics continue to collect evidence. Alicia and Dr. James continue to examine the bodies. At the entrance, Mark enters, walks up to Alicia, and gives her Calvin's fingerprint result. Alicia runs Calvin's fingerprint with the evidence that she has, and matches Calvin's fingerprint. Alicia gives Mark a nod to arrest Calvin. Int. Calvin's house, living room, day. Mark walks up to Calvin. Mark, we found your fingerprint on the murder weapon. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Mark cuffs Calvin. Int. FBI headquarters, interrogation room, day. Alicia and Mark question Calvin. Alicia, your wife was a model? Calvin, something like that. Mark, what do you mean by something like that? Calvin, she never took it seriously. She loved traveling. Modeling was a hobby to her, or rather an excuse to leave the house and mingle with artists, fashion designers, actors, and people whom she thought interesting. Alicia, who is attracted to Calvin, looks at his eyes with tenderness. Calvin can see it in her eyes clearly. He is drawn to her as well. She is a spellbinding woman. Mark, what about Robert Anderson, her lover, have you met him? Calvin, no, I had never met him. To Alicia, who is he? Alicia, subconsciously he is CEO and chief editor of Spotlight, a fashion culture magazine. She is caught with her hand in the cookie jar, gives him soft beautiful smile. She is supposed to question him, not fall in love with the suspect. Calvin, that is sad. Mark, what is sad? Calvin, it's just expression of disappointment. Mark, did you kill them? Calvin, no, I did not. Mark, so, how did your fingerprint end up on the murder weapon? Calvin, I don't know. You can talk to my lawyer. I have nothing to do with their death. At the entrance, Calvin's lawyer Levi King enters. Alicia and Mark look at him. Levi, I'm Levi King, Calvin's lawyer. Levi puts his briefcase on the table and sits next to his client. Levi, to Calvin, sorry, I'm late. Levi whispers something on Calvin's ear. Calvin nods in agreement. Levi, to Alicia and Mark, I just talked to Ms. Carter. She gave me a video disc. Alicia, what video disc? Levi, a video that she secretly recorded. I made a copy. I kept the original disc in case of emergency. Levi gives Alicia the copy. Levi, I must warn you. It's X-rated. Alicia places the disc in her laptop and plays it. On Alicia's laptop, we see Mia and Calvin making love. Alicia is captivated by Calvin's sexual performance from the get-go. They watch the video a little bit. Alicia pauses the video and tells her heart, pull yourself together. This is murder investigation. Alicia, how do we know this video was taken before the incident? Levi, you can look at the time and the date on the screen. It says May 10, 2085. Mark, we're at the peak of science and technology. Anybody can fake the time and date. I've seen it done before. Levi, not like this. You see, Ms. Carter is a professional prostitute, so to speak. She seduces men and takes them to her house to have sex. She then records them secretly and posts the video in deep web. It's a small world. I hate to admit this, but I know her intimately, if you know what I mean. Later, she got herself in trouble and called me to represent her. I took care of it like business as usual. As soon as he mentioned her name, Mia Carter, I knew who she was. I asked her to give me the video. Mark, we found his fingerprint on the murder weapon. How do you explain that? Levi, anybody can plant fingerprint on a murder weapon these days. He's one of the leading quantum programmers in the world. My client has a lot of enemies in the business. Alicia, who has been looking at Calvin with sexual desire, cannot think clearly. The devil is testing her. She would love to stimulate her clitoris, get lost in the moment, have a sweet orgasm, and focus on the case. But Alicia is a pro. She fights the temptation and gets down with the business. Alicia, give us the original copy. We'll examine it and clear his name. That is all there is to it. Int. FBI headquarters, interrogation room 2, day. Alicia questions Mia. Mia, I'm what you call a high-class hooker, except I don't charge my clients. I just go out and seduce attractive individuals, bring them to my house and fuck them while taping it secretly, and post the video in the web. If you have a credit card, you can watch it live. I go both way. Sometimes, I seduce women. Sometimes, I seduce guys. I just go with my feelings. Alicia, did Calvin spend that night with you on May 10th? Mia, I believed you watched the video. That guy is a messiah. He fucked me till I died and rose from the death. We pull out of the interrogation room. Int. FBI headquarters, conference room, day. The board of FBI, Special Agent Matthew Wright, Special Agent Natalie Parker, Agent John Stewart, Agent Alicia Love, and Agent Mark Morris, sit at a round table, reviewing the video. They watch the video a little bit. Then Special Agent Matt pauses the video. Special Agent Matt, to Alicia, how do you know if he didn't plan it ahead of time? Alicia, I doubt it. No real motive planning the murder ahead of time. According to his testimony, he found his wife having sexual intercourse with Mr. Anderson, left the house and came to a bar called Blues around 10 p.m. The bartender confirmed that he saw him. He then met Mia Carter, who is known to seduce men and take them to her house to have sex. She then tapes them without their knowledge and posts the video in the web. Special Agent Natalie Parker, is that legal? Alicia, no, it's not. She's violating their privacy right. She'll be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Agent John Stewart, is there another copy of the video in the internet? Someone might have recorded it. If they did, how can we get a hold of it to confirm this video is real? Alicia, it is real. We'll review it again, and see if there is a flaw. In the meantime, we can't rely on the video alone. We have 2 dead bodies in the morgue. She clicks a remote control. On the projector, we see crime scene photos of Sarah and Robert. Alicia, Sarah Sebastian, 26. She was a model. Robert Anderson, 35. He was CEO and chief editor of Spotlight, one of the leading fashion culture magazines in the world. They were stabbed to death. Clicking, one crime scene photo after another. Alicia, the killer drew these symbols on Sarah's body, 2 crosses on her cheeks, cross of Lorraine on her forehead, a major cross consists of a vertical line and 6 shorter horizontal lines on her midsection, 2 small crosses on her breasts, and 2 crosses of Lorraine on her thighs. We have to get the bottom of the evidence and find the real killer. Special Agent Matt, that sounds like we are dealing with a serial killer in the loose. But still I want you to keep eyes on Mr. Sebastian at all time. We pull out the meeting room dexterously. Insert, the Wall Street Journal. FBI rules out billionaire Calvin Sebastian from the suspect list. We see the picture of Calvin on the newspaper. Insert, Time magazine. Is Calvin Sebastian innocent? We see the picture of Calvin on the cover of Time with rose petals floating. Insert, People magazine. Who killed Sarah and her lover? We see the picture of Sarah on the cover of People. Calvin's picture can be seen at the bottom right corner of the magazine. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, futuristic buildings, an aerial view of New York City. EXT QTech headquarter, day. An established shot of QTech. It is 124-story building, 1,654 feet. QTech is written on top of the building. It's owned by Calvin. Int. QTech headquarter, Calvin's office, day. Calvin sits at his desk working on his laptop. On Calvin's laptop screen, we see a series of codes. Calvin then compiles the file and runs the application. An empty screen appears at first. He puts a wireless headset and looks at the screen for 3 seconds. Then New York City appears in the screen. We see Alicia walking in the street of New York City. The computer is reading his mind. Alicia stops and gives him a wink. Int. QTech headquarter, conference room, day. The board members of QTech, a bunch of young people, 9 males and 6 females, sit in a round table. Standing next to a futuristic holograph video, Calvin breaks down his new finding, Qi, also known as quantum imagination. Calvin, Qi, quantum imagination, allows customers to use their voice, smell like perfume, sight, feelings, hearing, instinct, emotions, insights, thoughts, neurons activities and turn them into video. For example, I say, Catwoman. A Catwoman appears in the holograph video. Calvin, QI translates my voice into quantum information. It then turns the information into image. This is just the beginning. Let's say I want Catwoman to perform multiple tasks. Suppose I want her to dance. Simultaneously, I want her to play superhero, save a young girl from bad guys. Yet the information exists only in my mind. It's not written in the program. QI reads my thoughts and display the information on the screen. We see Catwoman dancing in the club. At the same time, Quantum Catwoman, Catwoman 2, saving a young girl from 4 bad guys, kicking their asses. The board members are impressed. They don't know how he did it. Int. FBI headquarter, target shooting room, day. We see FBI best practicing target shooting. Alicia stands in a shooting box and fires at the targets. She hits her targets flawlessly. Mark is behind her. As she stops. Mark, the forensics found Calvin's fingerprint on the rose petals. Alicia, what does that prove? Mark, do you still think he's innocent? Alicia, I haven't made up my mind yet. Mark, let me know when you make up your mind. We're wiring his new house. You're in charge of shadowing the surveillance video. Mark walks away. Alicia reloads her gun and fires at the target. Bow. 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 She hits the center of the target with amazing speed. The agents stop what they were doing and look at her in astonishment. Int. Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives in the street of New York City. EXT Columbia University, day. Various shot of Columbia University. Int. Columbia University, Dr. Peter Spencer's office, day. Dr. Peter Spencer, 52, is a professor of religious iconology and symbiology. He is analyzing the symbol on Sarah's body, photographs that are taken at the crime scene. Alicia sits at his desk with a cup of tea, listening to what Dr. Spencer has to say. Dr. Spencer, referring to the major cross that consists of a vertical line crossed by 6 shorter horizontal bars on Sarah's midsection, this looks like 2 papal crosses, one upside down, one standing straight. Papal cross is a cross that has a long upright shaft and 3 crossbars. It's the emblem of the authority of the Pope. The 3 bars are usually thought to represent the Trinity, God the Father, Jesus the Son and the Holy Spirit. But not quite so. This symbol has 2 small crosses and 6 bars. It could represent dual personalities, as if the person were looking at his reflection in the water. He might even think he's both God and the devil. It's an original work. Maybe the killer wants to create his own identity. I believe this is just the beginning. There is more to come. EXT Video Art Gallery, Party, Night. A video art party is in progress. Futuristic motion canvases, photographic paper/thin flat TV screen. We see the video of attractive models with annotations, written messages and poems, spoken words, by the models, their fantasies, fears and desires, and moving paintings, animation style. It's presented by an artist named Jacob Franco. Aristocrats, elites, models, movie stars, artists, businessmen, businesswomen, and young entrepreneurs mingle while sipping champagnes. Calvin converses with 3 attractive models. Music plays in the soundtrack. A girl named Diana, 25, talks to Jacob, the artist, while checking out Calvin. Calvin catches her eyes. She gives him a soft, beautiful smile. Calvin returns her smile and continues to talk to the models. We don't hear what they are saying due to music on the soundtrack. EXT Video Art Gallery, Party, later. The party continues in full swing. Calvin stands alone, looking at a sensual video art of an attractive model, speaking about her fantasy, while sipping champagne. Diana approaches him. Diana, hi. Calvin, hi. Diana, you're Calvin? Calvin, yes. Diana, I work for Vanity Fair. They asked me to interview you. I want exclusive. Calvin, what is exclusive? Diana, I want to hear your side of the story. Calvin, I don't know if my side of story is appealing. But if you don't mind, can we go somewhere quiet and talk? Diana, sure. Calvin puts his drink aside. He gives her his arm. She takes his arm. They walk toward the exit like couples. Int. Vanilla Sky Restaurant, night. It is a romantic 5 stars restaurant. Calvin and Diana sit at a table with glasses of wines. On the stage, a girl named Caroline sings blues. Diana, so, how come a handsome man like you got himself in a double homicide? Calvin, it's just bad luck. Diana, we are not dealing with serial killer, are we? Calvin, I hope not. Diana, the killer is out there. Do you fear he might come after you? Calvin, they said fear is fear itself. You cannot let fear stop you from doing what you are enjoying. Diana, some people think you hired an assassin and had your wife and her lover murdered. Did you have anything to do with their death? Calvin, I had nothing to do with their death. Humorously, they die of natural cause. Diana, playing along, I don't believe you. Calvin, why is that? Diana, flirting, you're the most salacious man I've ever met. Calvin, thanks. You're risque as well. Diana, does that means we have something in common? Calvin, I guess so. Diana, they say commonality is the beginning of an extraordinary relationship. Do you think we make a great couple, girlfriend and boyfriend? Calvin, anything is possible. She smiles in beauty. She takes a sip from her drink. Diana, what was your wife like? Calvin, she was kind, thoughtful, and exceptionally beautiful. I was madly in love with her. I even named a star after her. One day, I went to London for a conference, but left early, and returned to New York with a gift to surprise her. However, I saw her with another man at the bedroom. I just left the house without saying a word, heartbroken, came to a bar called Blues, and met a girl named Mia Carter. We spent the night, making love. The same night, someone killed my wife and her lover. FBI thought I killed them. But luckily, my lawyer found a video of me and the girl making love that she taped secretly. The bureau then cleared me from the suspect list. Diana, humorously, that's an amazing story. You should write a book about it. Calvin smiles softly. Calvin, playing along, I'm thinking about it. Would you like to dance? He gives her his hand to dance. She takes his hand. They get up, come up to the dance floor, and dance slow. Close up, Calvin and Diana. They converse while dancing. Diana, I think I'm falling in love with you. Calvin, playing along, you don't want to fall in love with a man who might have done something so dreadful that he would have fled hell except himself. Maybe, that is William Faulkner who said it in The Sound and the Fury. But I am a bad person. Diana, I wouldn't have cared if you said you killed them in cold blood. You're compellingly beautiful. Calvin, humorously, thanks for the compliment. Perhaps, I am not fond of commendation. But if there were no law and order, I would kill the Pope in Vatican City for thinking of you in his daily prayer. That is a figure of speech. However, if anyone hurts your feeling, I would kill the person, and let the world know you are the girl of my dreams, alluring sin after my heartbeat, and tell them to worship no other goddess but thee. Diana smiles in beauty. Diana, seductively down by his lips, that's the sexiest thing anyone has ever said to me. They kiss. On the soundtrack, a romantic music plays. Int. Calvin's new villa, bedroom, night. Calvin and Diana make love. It's sensual, steamy, seductive, and passionate. We see Diana going through all kinds of sexual passion as Calvin enters her soul between her legs. EXT Calvin's new villa, night. It's a multi-million-dollar villa. We see a water fountain, gorgeous garden, a guest house, tennis court, and swimming pool. Pan 2, Alicia's convertible. Alicia sits in her car, watching Calvin and Diana making love in her laptop, recorded with surveillance cameras. Alicia cannot believe that Calvin is master of love-making. He's destroying it, giving Diana multiple orgasms. Alicia slowly removes her underwear and begins to touch herself sexually. Int. Calvin's house, bedroom, night. Calvin and Diana continue to make love. It's a steamy passionate sex. Calvin turns Diana around and fucks her behind, doggy style. Diana is loving it, making all kinds of sexual sounds while talking dirty. Calvin pulls Diana's hair and kisses her lips while entering her behind. They switch position. Diana lies on her back. Calvin comes between her legs, lifts one of her legs and continues to enter her rhythmically with full speed. Int. Alicia's convertible, night. Alicia continues to touch herself while watching the video. Alicia reaches climax and takes a deep breath. Alicia closes her laptop, places it aside, starts her car and drives away. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, night. Alicia drives in a street of New York City. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City in the night, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, futuristic buildings, and others. EXT Mia's house, night. An established shot of Mia's house. It is a seductive 3-bedrooms house. EXT Alicia's convertible, night. Alicia comes driving and parks her car in front of Mia's house. She gets out of the car, walks up to Mia's house and rings the bell. The door opens revealing Mia. She is completely nude. Alicia, hi. Mia, hi. Alicia, can I come in? Mia, please. Mia opens the door wider. Int. Mia's house, living room, night. Alicia steps in. Mia walks up to her private bar. Mia, do you want something to drink? Alicia, give me scotch. Mia grabs a whiskey, Chivas Regal, and pours the liquor into 2 separate glasses as Alicia looks around. Mia walks up to Alicia and gives her a glass of scotch. Mia, what brought you here? Alicia takes a sip. Alicia, you said Calvin spent with you that night? Mia nods in agreement as she takes a sip. Alicia, I need the original video. A naked man, Bruce, comes up to the living room. Bruce, to Mia, where did you go? Bruce looks at Alicia. Bruce, who's she? Alicia takes out her badge and shows him the badge. Alicia, FBI. Put on your pants and hit the road, Jack. Bruce, what's this, is it a joke? Alicia shows him her gun in her holster. Alicia, you have 2 minutes to put on your clothes and clear the house. Or you'll lose something that you are going to regret for the rest of your life. Bruce understands what she means, walks into the bedroom. Alicia follows him. Bedroom. Bruce puts on his clothes as Alicia stands at the entrance, looking at him. Bruce, you have delicious lips. Alicia, hurry up. I don't have the whole night. Bruce, putting on his clothes, are you always like this, pain in the butt? Alicia, just pray that I won't blow your dick off. I'm not in the mood for sarcasm. Bruce, that's my least vulnerable spot. But it's shame an attractive woman like you playing with a toy when a real man is waiting to show her a good time. Alicia, you're getting on my nerve. You have less than 30 seconds to clear the area. Bruce, okay. Shooter. I'm almost done. I'm just trying to make a little conversation. Well, you have seen it. Maybe, it's a mean serpent. Once it bites you with its cruel venom, your soul will be poisoned forever. Alicia, just pick up your stuff and get the fuck out of here. Bruce grabs his jacket and begins to walk toward the exit. Bruce, stops at the door. Has anyone told you just maybe you are the physical embodiment of Aphrodite? Let's have threesome. Nobody will get hurt. Alicia gives him a look. Bruce, never mind. Perhaps, some other time. Bruce opens the door. Bruce, to Mia, bye. Mia, bye, Bruce. I'll see you some other time. Bruce, to Alicia, good night. Alicia, take care. Bruce closes the door behind and leaves off screen. Mia, I didn't know you were an expert on human anatomy. Off Alicia's look, would you shoot a man in the dick? Alicia, I've done it before. Not a big deal. Just aim low and pull the trigger. Mia, I've never fired a gun. Is it fun? Alicia, it's like losing your virginity without a pain. Mia, is it addictive? Alicia, it could be addictive when you kill someone. You feel the pain in your G-spot. It is orgasmic. Mia, have you killed anyone? Alicia, only those whose times had expired. Mia, I bet you they're in hell dreaming about you. They must have thought they went out with style, as if the devil had mercy on their souls. Alicia, anyhow, do you know what you are doing is illegal? I was supposed to arrest you and charge you for violating people's privacy. Mia, the government can't charge you for violating people's privacy, till a person files a complaint. Even if the person files a complaint, he or she would have to prove in the court of law that I violated their privacies. How do you know that I've already told them there would be video cameras in my house recording, and they agreed to participate in their free will? Alicia, we have your confession. You said you seduced them and taped them secretly. That will get you 10 years in federal prison easily. Mia, don't sweat it. I know a couple of great lawyers. I will tell them I just said it to impress you. They'll get the case thrown out of the court in a heartbeat. Alicia, that's what you think. But if you break the law, you'll pay the price soon or later. Mia, what if it's worth paying the price? I'm not a big fan of lawyers who work for pro bono. Alicia, just don't fuck with FBI. You're not the first slut who thinks her vagina is made of gold, and she can turn the gold into diamond by pulling pubic hair from her pussy. I have dealt with a lot of muffins like you since I was in high school. Mia, I like to keep it trimmed, and if it's necessary, wax it Brazilian, pulls all of them out of my vulva. So, I don't have to pull any hair in case I run into a cat who might be allergic to a fur. Instead, I'll let her lick my clit, turn it to liquid diamond, and collect my tears from my own account with sweet orgasm. Alicia, mockingly, that's the smartest thing you have ever said since I met you. Mia, besides, I fuck rich people. Some of them are married. No one will come to testify. It'll be waste of taxpayers' money. Alicia, trust me, we'll find someone to testify against you. That person will tell the judge how he fucked you till your brain exploded. You wouldn't know what hit you. Mia, so why don't you just arrest me now? Alicia, I'll arrest you when the time is right. But now give me the original video. You gave us a copy. I know you have it somewhere. Mia, it's 6 hours long. That man is from another planet. You thought a man fucking me till my brain explodes would makes me lose my mind. Calvin fucked me till my ovaries caught on fire. I can still feel the heat between my legs. I get wet thinking about his eyes. Alicia, I want to see it. Mia, I can't give you the original video. I'm keeping it for myself. But if you just want to see it, we can watch it here together. Alicia, just get it. Alicia sits at the coffee table. Mia walks up to her safe cabinet, in the wall, applies the code, opens the safe, and gets the video. Mia places the video in her DVD player and plays the video. On the screen, we see Mia and Calvin having a passionate sex. Mia comes to the sofa and sits next to Alicia. Mia, I've never met anything like him. He's not a human being. Don't fool by his dreamy look. He's a beast. Alicia is enthralled by the video, watching Calvin with seductive lust at the depth of her heart. He is killing it, Mia is burning inside out, screaming with pleasure. Alicia then turns her eyes and catches Mia's eyes, who is looking at her with sexual desire. Mia slowly makes a sexual advance on Alicia, touches her thigh sensually. Alicia allows her. Mia kisses Alicia on the shoulder. She says nothing. Mia gets closer and kisses Alicia on the cheek. Alicia grabs Mia's hair sexually. They kiss French in a lesbian love. Mia then slowly unbuttons Alicia's shirt. She kisses her breasts, caresses her belly, and removes Alicia's underwear. Mia collects her dress, gets between Alicia's legs, and gives her oral sex as Alicia continues to watch the video. Close up, Alicia. Her face goes all kinds of sexual phases. Alicia sighs deeper and deeper as Mia continues to give her oral pleasure. Int. Mia's house, bedroom, night. Alicia and Mia make love. It's a hot lesbian sex. We stay with them for a bit. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City, Midtown Manhattan, Brooklyn Bridge, Statue of Liberty, Times Square, futuristic buildings, aerial view of New York City, and others. EXT QTech headquarter, day. An established shot of QTech headquarter. Int. QTech headquarter, Calvin's office, day. Calvin sits at his desk writing program in his laptop. He then compiles the file and runs the application. It's holograph advertisement. We see an attractive supermodel in hologram as if she were standing in front of him. Then comes the product, energy drink called Vim, out of the thin air and floats in front of the girl in zero gravity. The girl grabs it, opens the top, and drinks it. Then the energy drink disappears before our eyes. The girl gets into a convertible, starts the car with telekinetic, her mind, drives at the speed of light and disappears through the thin air. Followed by the product name and slogan, Vim, energy for life and beyond. Calvin switches the application and begins to work on extra dimension program, side project. He writes codes, like a magician, compiles the file, and runs the application. We see particles moving in circle at the speed of light and colliding. Some of the debris escape into extra dimension. Int. FBI headquarter, main station, Alicia's desk, day. Alicia and Mark sit at Alicia's desk, discussing about the case. In the background, we see TV screens that show all kinds of news around the world, looks like CNN headquarter in grand scale, federal agents walking up and down, talking with each other, sitting at their desks, and working on cases, etc. Mark, it's possible he hired a contract killer and had them murdered. Alicia, if he hired a contract killer, why did the hitman plant Calvin's fingerprint on the murder weapon? Not only that, how did he place Calvin's fingerprint on the rose petals? Mark, maybe he gave him a knife and rose petals with his fingerprint to trick us. Alicia, it doesn't add up. He saw his wife with another man and hired a contract killer to murder them the same night, then gave him a knife and rose petals with his fingerprints, so he could escape justice. I just don't buy it. Mark, maybe, he knew about the affair. He was waiting for the right time to strike like a cobra. Have you thought about why he left the conference in London ahead of schedule? Because he knew he was going to catch her with another man. He then paid a hitman and had them taken care of. That is my theory. Alicia, what about how do you explain the symbols on Sarah's body, what are they? Mark, it could be part of the twist, or maybe the killer is a psychopath, did that to amuse himself. Alicia, we still have to find that mental case whether he is a contract killer, or not. We don't have his fingerprint. No DNA. We don't know who he is, what he looks like. No witness. We have nothing on him. Mark, I think we should round up all the hitmen in New York City and question them. Alicia, you take care of that. I'll go talk to Calvin. Alicia grabs her car key, gets up, and walks toward the exit. On the soundtrack, music plays. Int. Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives in the street of New York City. On the soundtrack music continues to play. Alicia looks at erotic photos of Calvin and Diana, that are taken by undercover FBI agents, while steering the wheel. She puts the photos aside and focuses on the road. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, day. An established shot of Alicia's convertible as she continues to drive in the street of New York City. Int. New York restaurant, day. Calvin sits at a table, enjoying lobster shrimp macaroni and a glass of red wine. On the stage, a girl named Sophia sings blues. Out of nowhere comes Alicia, pulls a chair, and sits in front of him. Alicia, what's up? Calvin, under his breath nothing much. Alicia, catching up with late lunch? Calvin, something like that. She gazes at his eyes intimately. Calvin, what's it, Agent Love? Alicia, I want to talk to you about a sex tape that Mia Carter recorded secretly. You could say it's part 2. Your lawyer only gave us the first 3 hours. But I didn't know you guys did it for 6.5 hours. You have amazing stamina. Calvin, I felt like I had to prove something to myself. Alicia, that's what I thought too. Did you take any drug to keep you going that long? Calvin, I'll tell you everything. Why don't we get together and have dinner? I have to be somewhere in 10 minutes. Are you free tomorrow? Alicia, tomorrow is Friday. I have an appointment, might have to question a couple of witnesses. But I'm free on Saturday. Calvin, then it's a date. Alicia, it's a date. Pan to, Sophia. She continues to sing soulfully. We stay with her a bit. Then on the soundtrack, a fashion music plays. Int. Boutique, day. Alicia shops for a dress. On the soundtrack, music continues to play. She sees a beautiful black dress. A retail clerk named Lydia approaches her. Alicia likes the dress. Lydia tells Alicia to try it on. Alicia takes the dress and walks into the dressing room. Int. Boutique, dressing room, day. Alicia removes her clothes and puts on the dress. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room and shows the dress to Lydia. Lydia tells her she looks amazing. Alicia sees a gorgeous dress, takes the dress, and walks back to the dressing room. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room wearing the yellow dress and shows the dress to Lydia. Lydia tells her she looks sexy. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room wearing a seductive purple dress. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room wearing a futuristic white dress. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room wearing a stunning green dress. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room wearing a lascivious gold dress. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room wearing a graceful sliver dress. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room wearing a sensual sky blue dress. Cut to. Alicia comes out of the dressing room wearing a breathtaking red dress that shows her skin. Lydia tells her that is the best. Int. Veronica restaurant, night. It is a romantic 5 stars restaurant. Calvin sits at a table. In the background, we see New York City in the night. On the stage, a young woman named Christina sings a love song. Then at the entrance, Alicia, who is wearing the same breathtaking red dress, walks in. Calvin looks at her in wonder as if it were love at first sight. His heart bleeds like Red Sea. He gets up as she comes up to the table. Alicia, what's up? Calvin, nothing much. They kiss on the cheeks. Calvin pulls a chair for her. Alicia sits at the table. Calvin takes his seat. Calvin, you look luscious. Alicia, thanks. You look gorgeous yourself. Calvin is mesmerized by her appearance, doesn't know what enters in his soul and turns his world around. Alicia has never felt sexier than tonight in her life. Her eyes sparkle brighter than the stars. Alicia, what time did you get here? Calvin, 15 minutes ago. Alicia, humorously, do you always arrive earlier than daydream? He smiles softly. Calvin, I don't like keeping my dates waiting. It's bad for reputation. Alicia, I know what you mean. Humorously, I am not going to holding it against you. Calvin, you are 5 minutes early yourself. Alicia, I always try to arrive earlier than a corrupted orgasm if I am in a good mood, or perhaps come sooner than unpredictable PMS if I am in a bad mood. The latter happen rarely. But I promise I will be a virtuous girl tonight. Calvin, it's cool with me. Alicia, anyhow, I don't mean to sound like a law enforcement agent who wants to get laid with all these intimate questions, but do you date a lot? Calvin smiles in wonder. Calvin, I used to date quite often, but fell in love and got married in the middle. Dating became old-fashioned to me. But I missed it more than life itself. I still can't believe I am sitting with the most alluring girl in the world. Alicia, you are truly a class act. Calvin, am I really? Alicia, what do you think? Calvin, I don't usually like to evaluate myself, but I would like to think I am a decent man. Alicia, you sound like a man who is hiding something. Calvin, what am I hiding? Alicia, perhaps a secret. Calvin, what secret would that be? Alicia, why don't you tell me? Calvin, I don't have any secret, rather fairy tales. When we get to know each other intimately, you don't have to hear no anecdote from me. You would feel it at the bottom of your heart, or perhaps down by your belly. Each story ends with happily ever after. Alicia, are you talking about orgasm? Calvin, who knows? Alicia, but I like sad story. Romeo and Juliet is tragedy. They say it's the greatest love story ever written. Calvin, I think we can prove them wrong easily. What do you say? Alicia, I was talking about urinating on your penis. They all are same things, tears, orgasm, and pee. They are water. He smiles big. Calvin, I thought you were going to be a good girl. Alicia, it's a joke. I will be a good Christian. Calvin, humorously it's cool. I don't mind making love to you till your kidneys spurt. You can't tell the difference between heaven and hell and carnations and daisies. Alicia, sounds like PG-13. I want to hear the X-rated version. Can you translate that into French? Calvin, je vais faire l'amour jusqu'à ce que votre cervix burns, votre vessie éclate et chaque organe de votre ventre explose à l'intérieur de votre uterus, et votre clitoris est dissout, et le vagin humide avec un pour plaisir. Vous ne pourrez pas faire la différence entre l'orgasme et de l'urine. Alicia, what does that means? Calvin, I will make love to you till your cervix burns, your bladder bursts and every organ in your belly explodes inside of your uterus, and your clitoris dissolves, and wet your vagina with pure pleasure. You will not be able to tell the difference between orgasm and urine. She smiles in seduction. Alicia, I look forward to it. But I'm hungry. Grabs the menu. What are you going to order? Calvin smiles softly to himself. Calvin, I think I might have to pass. I'll just watch you eat. You look breathtaking. The weight in my essence evaporated away. I feel light like a dandelion floating in my belly. And at the same time, drawing in my blood, swimming naked with you in my heart like two jellyfish making love underwater, or rather red wine in the Garden of Eden, while electrocuting each other. Shockwave that rivals lightning bolt, and can tear open the skies and send electrostatic in the angels' hearts that dwell in heaven. Though, I am the one, who feels electric shock and thunderbolt at the depth of my soul every time I look at your eyes as if I were looking at a goddess, my creator. Perhaps it's a fairy tale, or could it be in a universe where they believe a female deity named Aphrodite created a woman from the dust of stars, and breathed into her nostrils the breath of life, and the woman became a living creature. And later, Aphrodite created a man from the woman's heart instead of rib in the Bible, and she brought him to the woman. And he is made to fall in love with her till his soul bleeds like a flesh, and never let her down, never cease to amaze her, and never ever underestimate the power of true love, even for a nanosecond, never break her heart, yet, adore her above everything else. She smiles in beauty. Alicia, that's something. But I didn't know you read Bible. Calvin, what can I say? I get emotional when I see an attractive woman. You look arresting. Alicia, thanks for the compliment. But, regardless, I'm not comfortable with my date watching me eating. I would feel violated. I don't care if you are going to eat or not. But you have to order something. Calvin, in that case, I'll have dessert. She looks at the menu further. Alicia, I'll have shrimp salad. I was advised to eat light food. You never know what the night holds. Calvin, I know what you mean. That is why I order dessert. Chocolate cake is easy to burn. Alicia, are you suggesting I should have cake for dinner as well? Calvin, it's up to you. I am not a diet expert. Alicia, shrimp salad won't affect my performance, will it? Calvin, what kind of performance are we talking about? Alicia, what do you have in mind? Calvin, nothing inappropriate under the circumstance. Alicia, are you trying to seduce me? Calvin, no, I am not. I am just going with the flow. The main waiter comes up to the table to take their order. Main waiter, how can I take your order? Alicia, give me a chocolate cake. Calvin, same thing. The waiter writes down their order and takes the menus. Main waiter, anything to drink? Calvin, bring us a bottle of Penfolds. The main waiter nods his head, sure, and walks away. Alicia, that's the most expensive wine in the world, $250,000 a bottle. Calvin, under his breath, you don't like it. Alicia, are you trying to impress me? Calvin, no. I'm not. A beat, off her look, it's just a bottle of wine. Alicia, I forget you have more money than God. Calvin, that has nothing to do with it. Wine can only wet your lips, and maybe, help prevent heart disease. But it won't do the trick. Alicia, what trick are we talking about? Calvin, do you want me to go into detail? Alicia, it won't hurt. Calvin looks at her eyes softly and give her a charismatic smile. Calvin, let's just forget it. I'll find another way to impress you, perhaps turn the moist on your lips into rose dew and the saliva on your tongue into real Pinot Noir with French kiss, take your breath away, and mend your soul when you think you have it all figured out. Alicia smiles in beauty. Alicia, you are romantic. But do you want to hear my love life? Calvin, I am not big on past life, but feel free to discuss anything. Alicia, not much of a story. I have dated here and there, but never involved in a serious relationship. I didn't have time for men. You know, chasing bad guys, arresting criminals, putting them away, and making the world a better place are a full-time job. I am always caught in murder investigation, or something. The last time I was in a thoughtful relationship was when I was in college, but I ended it prematurely. I was young, and didn't want to be kept in a cage. I crave adventure. Then it became all business. I only dated to chase my demons away. Pan 2, Christina. Christina continues to sing. In the background, Calvin and Alicia continue to converse. Yet we don't hear what they are saying due to the music. Int. Veronica restaurant, later. Calvin and Alicia chocolate cakes are already served. They are not really eating. In fact, they have done eating. They are conversing while sipping the most expensive champagnes in the world. On the stage, Christina sings a romantic song. Alicia, what do you really do, beside owning all those skyscrapers around the world? Calvin, I'm a quantum programmer. Off her look, I write programs that allow people to do multiple tasks. Alicia, you must be smart. Calvin, I don't know if I'm that smart but I like what I do. It's fun. Alicia, I am told you are the smartest person in the world if not in the history of mankind. Calvin, maybe, that is overstatement. But once Edgar Allan Poe said, deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. You know, the brain can do anything if you allow it. You can even read people's minds, move objects with your thoughts, telekinetic, telepathy, and the ability to know everything. Alicia, how much do you make? Calvin, humorously more than God like you said. Maybe, that is a figure of speech, but I make a lot. Yet, I give away most of it, 95% to all kinds of space programs, quantum research centers, and medical institutions. I'm as broke as Jesus Christ. Alicia, who killed your wife? Calvin says nothing. He seems lost in thoughts. Pan 2, Christina as she continues to sing. We see Calvin and Alicia seemingly conversing in the background. We then pull out of the restaurant dexterously. EXT New York City, night. Calvin and Alicia take a walk in the street of New York City. Alicia, where did you go to school? Calvin, University of New York. Alicia, what did you major? Calvin, art, psychology, computer science, and quantum physics. Alicia, anyway, I'm sorry that we accused you of murder. You know, we found your fingerprints on the murder weapon and rushed into conclusion. Calvin, it's okay. You don't really have to apologize to me. You were just doing your job. Alicia, it's my biggest fear to put an innocent man in prison. I would rather shoot a man in the heart and watch him die than accuse him wrongfully, and send him to prison. Calvin, I'm just curious. How did you become an agent, what's your story? FBI crime investigator, you are young. Alicia, my father was an architect. He died when I was 5. I don't have a lot of memory of him. My mother was a doctor. I thought about following her footstep and becoming a doctor. But she died of breast cancer while I was studying medicine first year at Harvard. I just couldn't focus. I lost all motivation in a test for life. I broke up with my boyfriend, dropped out of school and decided to travel around the world. I visited London, Rome, Paris, Madrid, Barcelona, Portugal, Egypt, China, Tokyo. Basically, I traveled around the world for 2 years, till I ran out of money. I then returned to NYC and bumped into my uncle, a retired FBI agent. We sat and talked about life. He convinced me to go back to medical school and finish. It was all paid. But I just couldn't see myself spending 16 hours, you know, stranded in one building, and helping patients like my mother. I wanted to drive around and catch bad guys for the thrill of it. I studied criminal justice, graduated with honor, top of my school, bought a brand new 2080 Jaguar convertible, and joined FBI. That's my story so far. Calvin, humorously, are you good at catching bad guys? Alicia, I'm the best. I mean, it's one of the most demanding jobs in the world. You have no idea how many crimes are committed each second around the world: murder, robbery, cybercrime, terrorism, racketeering, drug possession, motor vehicle theft, the list goes on. Calvin, is it Hunter S. Thompson who said, in a closed society where everybody's guilty, the only crime is getting caught? We might as well let nature take its course, and allow people to learn from their mistakes. Their conscience will punish them. Alicia, that is not a bad idea. But the late Ronald Reagan said, one way to make sure crime doesn't pay would be to let the government run it. According to Confucianism, we're born with feelings of envy and passion. If we give way to them, they'll lead us to violence and crime, and any sense of loyalty and good faith will be lost. Calvin, that's wise. But I thought NYPD homicide were supposed to handle murder case. Alicia, usually, that was the case, but they're under federal indictment for falsifying evidence. FBI is handling all murder cases. Calvin, I see. Alicia, anyway, I watched the sex video that Mia recorded secretly. I've never seen anything like it. You have incredible sexual energy. Do you take drug? What's your secret? Calvin, no, I don't take any drug. I just have this burning desire in my soul to satisfy women beyond their carnal fantasies. They stand lips to lips. Alicia, I have a confession to make. I'm a bad girl myself. I've been wanting to sleep with you the second I saw you. Calvin, softly down by her lips, I won't lie to you. I've been dying to kiss your luscious lips. They exchange juicy kiss, and make love to you till I exist no more. They kiss more passionately. On the soundtrack, a romantic song plays. Int. Calvin's villa, bedroom, night. Calvin and Alicia make love. It's seductive, steamy, and passionate. Calvin is between her legs, turning Alicia's heart into mist. We see Alicia moaning in sexual passion, reaching one climax after another. It is one of the best sex in the history of cinema. We stay with them with serious cuts. Montage: New York City. A quick take of New York City, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, futuristic structures, aerial view of New York City and many more. Ext/int. Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives in streets of New York City. Ext Diana's house, day. An established shot of Diana's house. It is a luxurious 4-bedroom house that has a swimming pool, gardens, water fountain, and tennis court. We see police officers, media personalities, journalists, paparazzi, TV vans, law enforcement agencies' cars, paramedics, and bystanders moving in chaos. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving and parks her car next to the house. The journalists and paparazzi rush toward Alicia's car. Alicia gets out of the car. The journalists ask her all kinds of questions as she walks toward the house. The police officers push the crowd aside, making way for Alicia. Int. Diana's house, morning. We see the nude body of Diana on the bed. There are the same symbols on her body that we saw on Sarah earlier, 2 cross marks on her cheeks, cross of Lorraine on her forehead. A major cross consists of a vertical line crossed by 6 shorter horizontal bars on her midsection, from her chest, down to her belly, and 2 small crosses on her breasts, 2 more crosses of Lorraine on her thighs. The blanket is covered with blood. Rose petals are sprinkled all over the crime scene. FBI forensic team, Tyler and Megan, collect evidence. Dr. James examines the body. Ryan photographs the dead body. Mark takes note. At the entrance, Alicia walks in. Mark approaches her. Mark, Diana Jones. Age 24. Time of death between 2 a.m. to 2:30. She was beaten, raped, stabbed and branded with the same symbols like the previous murder case. We found Calvin's fingerprint on the murder weapon. Alicia, I was with him last night. He couldn't have killed her. Mark, surprised? Did you just said you were with him? Alicia, we went out dinner. One thing led to another. I spent the night at his house. Mark, that's crazy. Alicia, I know what you're thinking. I shouldn't have involved with a suspect. But I trusted my feeling. I can't change what happened, can I? Mark, he might have left while you were asleep and killed her. Alicia, it's impossible. We spent 6 hours making love. I barely blinked my eyes, came straight here. Mark, so how did his fingerprint end up on the murder weapon? Alicia, they were dating. He might have used the knife to cut things. Then in a strange coincidence, the killer used the same knife to kill her. Mark, are you defending him? Alicia, I'm just stating my opinion. You just can't arrest an innocent man without evidence. Agent John Stewart walks up to Mark with a file. He gives him the file. Mark, did it match with the petal killer? Agent John Stewart, like a pair of expensive gloves. Agent John Stewart walks away. Mark, here, this is his DNA test. Like I suspect, the semen that the forensic found on her private part matched with his DNA. He's the petal killer. Alicia, that's impossible. He was with me last night. I'll testify in the court. Mark, are you sure he was with you the whole time? Alicia, yes. Form 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. We make love 6 hours straight without a break. My vagina is still sore. Mark, you guys did some serious fucking. But I still want to bring him for questioning. Alicia, what are you going to ask him? Some sexual positions that we might have invented? Mark, I'll just ask him where he was last night. Alicia, I told you he was with me. Don't forget I'm in charge of the investigation. We can't waste time, dragging innocent people to the bureau and ask them stupid questions to get false conviction. That's not how I work. Mark, we have his DNA all over the crime scene. I'll just ask him few questions and clear his name. They continue to talk as we pull out dexterously. Int. FBI headquarter, interrogation room, day. Mark questions Calvin. Alicia is present. Mark, where were you last night? Calvin, I was home with Alicia. Mark, what were you doing? Alicia, is that necessary, Mark? Mark, I want to hear it from him. To Calvin, just answer the question. Calvin, we had dinner at Veronica restaurant, then come to my house, and made love the whole night. Mark, how did your fingerprint end up on the murder weapon? She was raped, stabbed, and marked with symbols. The forensic found your fingerprint on the rose petals and your semen in her vagina cavity. We also found your skin in her fingernails. Calvin, I don't know how they got in there. Maybe this rose petals killer is trying to frame me. Mark looks at Calvin's eyes. Mark, are you the petal killer? Calvin, no, I'm not. Calvin continues to answer questions. We pull out dexterously. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, an aerial view of New York City. Int. Reese Restaurant, Day. It is a romantic 5 stars restaurant. Calvin and Alicia sit at a table with glasses of red wines. Alicia, the forensics found your fingerprints on the murder weapon. They found your skin in her fingernails. Your semen was found inside her vagina cavity. I don't know what to say. I wish it were a mistake, but it's not an error. Do you have enemies at work? Calvin, none I could think of. A beat, maybe Caleb Fox, when I used to work at QIS, Quantum Information System Incorporated long time ago. But he committed suicide. Alicia, what can you tell me about Caleb Fox? Who's he, why did he commit suicide? Calvin, Caleb and I were friends. We wrote a program called QH, also known as Quantum Holograph, that allows customers to download video. Then QH changes the video into holograph. We sold the application to QIS for $35 billion. Quantum Information System Incorporated made $300 billion from the product within a year. Later, QIS executives found out Caleb only contributed 10%. I wrote 90% of the program. They offered us positions in their new advanced quantum program project to write advanced quantum applications. They paid me 5 times more than him in order to keep me around. He accused me of double-crossing him. I told him I had nothing to do with it. Someone must have told them. That was the beginning of our quarrel. Then, one day, he came to the office with a gun and threatened to shoot me. He said to take my clothes off and dance around the office nude to embarrass me, but I refused to do such thing. I told him if he was going to shoot me, to go ahead and shoot me. But I would not humiliate myself. He then said the gun was fake. He was just fucking with me. Later, he went to Mexico, drank like hell, did a lot of drugs and sex, and lost his soul. In the end, he killed himself. Int. FBI headquarter, Alicia's desk, Day. Alicia sits at her desk looking at Caleb's records in her laptop. She reads an article. A man who is believed to be Caleb Fox is arrested for cyber terror. She reads another article. Caleb Fox, who threatened to infect Wall Street with the deadliest computer virus known to information system, is caught. More article. A hacker who calls himself the Prophet Caleb Fox is arrested after he hacked into Wall Street. Alicia reads further. Caleb Fox infected SDPS, Super Data Processing Storage, with TK9 virus. Wall Street said it costs them $150 billion in total revenue, etc. Int. NYC Restaurant, Night. It is a fancy 5 stars restaurant. It has a sense of class. Calvin sits at a table with glass of wine. On the stage, a girl named Melissa sings a love song. Alicia walks in, comes to Calvin's table and sits in front of him. Alicia, you told me Caleb Fox commit suicide. You lied to me, Calvin. He's still alive. Calvin, I didn't want you to check his background. He was a good friend of mine. I have known him since college. Alicia, the man threatened to shut down Wall Street if they didn't pay him $30 billion. What was he thinking? Calvin, he must have lost money in stock market. Alicia, he has history of violent. I questioned his ex-wife Skyla. She said Caleb is unpredictable. He once broke her nose after she refused to have sex with him. But she chose not to press charge. Calvin, that was domestic dispute between him and his wife. Those kinds of things tend to happen when couples create untrustworthy environment, and find themselves in lifeless marriages, or rather involve in unholy matrimony. Alicia, I also questioned your colleagues at Quantum Information System. They said Caleb burned your $25 million 2073 Bugatti Veyron convertible classic. You didn't press charge. Calvin, I didn't want to press charge. It is only a car. Alicia, they also said the gun that he threatened to kill you with was a real gun. Calvin, it might have been, but nobody can prove that. Alicia, why are you defending him? Calvin, I am not defending him. I am just looking at the bright side. Alicia, he could easily be the pedal killer. He's after you. Calvin, it's possible. But why do they call him the pedal killer? Alicia, it's because of the rose petals that he leaves at the crime scene. It's sort of a nickname. It's easy to remember, perhaps to get people attention, and inform them in advance of a possible danger, the pedal killer. It's catchy. Calvin, I see, but do you know where Caleb might be? Alicia, the bureau thinks he's somewhere in South France, under anonymous name. But I think he's in New York City. They said they arrested him 6 years ago, in Los Angeles. Yet he bailed out and flee the country. He was in FBI most wanted list, but they dropped the case for unknown reason. According to anonymous agent, Caleb hacked National and Foreign Intelligence Service, NFIS, database, posted the names of CIA and FBI undercover agents in a fake website. Later, NFIS arrested him in Tokyo, and secretly made a deal with him, to provide the government information, hacking into China intelligence database and other foreign countries that are threat to USA. I think he's capable of planting evidence. Pan to Melissa, as she continues to sing. In the background, Alicia and Calvin continue to talk. We stay with Amanda for a bit. Then Amanda's voice blends with the soundtrack. EXT New York City, night. Calvin and Alicia take a walk in the street of New York City conversing. We don't hear what they are saying due to the music on the soundtrack. Then the music falls in the background and plays softly. Calvin, what do the symbols imply? Alicia, there are Lorraine cross on their forehead. As a matter of fact, it's the patriarchal cross. The patriarchal cross consists of a vertical line crossed with two short horizontal bars. It's the symbol of Christianity. It might have to do with Jesus' bloodline. Byzant Christian, who came to the Morava Empire in the year 863, introduced the symbol to the Slavic. The patriarchal cross was a popular symbol in the Byzantine Empire in the 10th century. Then it was adapted by the Dukes of Lorraine around same time. Later, it might have inspired the Crusaders to design their famous red cross that represents the Knights Templar. And there are plain crosses on both their cheeks. We believe he placed them for decoration purposes. There is a major cross that has a vertical line and 6 shorter horizontal bars on their midsection, and 2 small crosses on their breasts, and 2 more Lorraine crosses on their thighs. We're not interested on the marks on their faces and legs. We're focusing on the symbol on their midsection. Experts think it is an original work. Maybe the killer wants to make a statement. He thinks he's larger than life. Calvin, maybe he's just a lunatic. Alicia, that's what I said. Some lunatic who lost his grasp on reality. Calvin, it's a matter of time. Soon or later, you'll catch him. Alicia, anyway, let's talk about you. I heard you're a big fan of science fiction, hidden dimensions, cosmic phenomena, string theory, and time traveling. You're giving away a lot of money for space programs, quantum research, and hidden dimension experiment. Calvin, the universe is a big place. As a matter of fact, they could be multiple universes. Building spaceships and traveling at the speed of light alone will not get us anywhere. We have to find shortcuts. If there are natural wormholes, like wormholes that are predicted by Albert Einstein, find them, and see where they take us. And if that's not enough, create artificial quantum gates, access hidden dimensions, and get the best of infinity. Alicia, that's interesting. There is this theory, which I found fascinating. The universe is created in a white dwarf after a death of a star in black hole, except a death of a star alone can't give birth to a universe. It doesn't have enough information. It has to be the death of the universe itself in a super black hole. You see, the universe is expanding faster than the speed of light. It might not expand forever even though the real space is infinite. Like you said, they could be myriad of multiple universes. Imagine those universes are like the stars in our observable universe. Some of the universes run into super black holes where regions of space-time from which gravity prevents anything, including universe, from escaping. Thus, they get sucked in and create new universes in quantum dimensions. I think that's how our universe come to be, from a death of universe in a parallel dimension. Calvin, I couldn't agree more. Maybe it might even have formed in quantum vacuum. A single quantum entity appeared out of nowhere with all the information in the universe, followed by Big Bang and created the universe that we know and love, including space and time. Alicia, that sounds conceivable. But let me ask you a question, if you can go back in time, what would you change? Calvin, I would have prevented the death of my wife. But I doubt if I can change anything. However, talking about facts, opinions, and theories, nothing is supposed to make sense. I mean, there is a grandfather paradox. Let's say I went back in time and killed my grandfather. Will I exist? Some say it won't change anything. I merely created another reality. The original existing reality remain unchanged. My grandfather is both dead and alive at the same time in 2 separate universes. Actually, there are infinite universes hidden right in front of us. I just alter one reality, and created another reality in addition to infinity. Others said if you kill your grandfather, you'll die in the process. You'll turn into energy and disappear from the face of the universe, and like a butterfly that flaps its wings in Brazil causes its tsunami in Japan, your action will cause chain reaction. You'll eventually change the course of history. And there are scientists who say, the past, the present, the future exists at the same time. If you go back in time and kill your grandfather will die. But you'll continue to live. In fact, there are quantum universes where everything that can happen does happen, will happen, has already happened, and is happening. Our physical reality is illusion. We're energy brought into being at the creation of time and space. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, but changes from one form to another. Alicia, that's something. Calvin, anyway, I believe we're far from illusion. We're as real as anything can get. We just have to leave our trouble behind, and accept the fact we are capable of so much more, and continue to believe that we're more real than the seraphs in heavens and the stars in the skies. She smiles in beauty. Alicia and Calvin stand lips to lips. Alicia, do you think salvation will ever come to our souls as human beings? Talking between soft kisses. Calvin, salvation has already come to my soul. It's the greatest blessing of them all. My soul rejoices when I see your face. My heart bleeds when I kiss your scrumptious lips, gives her a soft kiss on her lips. It's like out-of-body experience. She smiles in beauty as they exchange soft kisses. Alicia, what about, do you know what makes us who we are? They exchange soft kiss. Calvin, passion makes us who we are. It's the force that holds atoms together in our DNA and gives structure to our soul. A life without passion is emptier than dry air in a desert, as if our very existence were a product of vanity. It's only passion that quenches the void in our souls and gives dimensions to our characters. Alicia, passion is overrated. It seems nothing but a second-hand emotion. Reason rules the world. I try to live on that principle even though I am extremely a passionate person. You know, passion has served me nothing but pain at the core of my soul, and ironically, I can never give up on passion as long as I live. My soul craves it above everything else. Nonetheless, the cells in our body are mostly made of water. Nothing quenches the thirst of the soul more than peace of mind. They exchange soft kisses. However, something tells me, as long as my heart beats, the cells in my bodies continue to divide and make copies of themselves, and time in my eyes forms 3 thin invisible metals on each of my iris, and seemingly to tick, there is no peace. It doesn't exist, only the illusion of peace. But I still want it more than life itself. If I can't have peace, I must have true love. I can never live without love. They exchange soft kisses. Calvin, love is peace hidden in chaos, confusion, aches, and pain. And peace is not illusion. It is a soul at time out after you conquer all your demons, and establish a sense of ease in your heart. But the soul is not created to rest. It is made to burn without a sense of purpose, and get lost in the unbearable awareness of existence, forbidden realities, metaphors, and unquenchable desires. So, it creates harmony and makes you think it's illusion to take a breathing, and perhaps collect energy as much as possible. It tricks you into craving peace, just so it'll continue to burn like magnificent red butterfly nebula and gold stardust bursting across the fabric of the cosmos till your whole body, essence, soul, and spirit fill with light. You then rise above the heavens, and shines brighter than 1,000 suns, and the gods can only say, isn't she the fairest of them all? You then scatter into infinity and beyond and live forever in my heart that is refused to be bounded by time, space, and existence itself. She smiles in beauty. They exchange juicy kisses. Alicia, are you always romantic like this? Calvin, softly down by her lips only when I'm in love. They kiss French. On the soundtrack, a romantic music plays. Int. Calvin's house, bedroom, night. Calvin and Alicia make love surrounded candles. It's sensual, steamy, seductive, and passionate. It's one of the most romantic love scenes in the history of motion picture. We see Alicia in beautiful sexual passion as Calvin enters her soul between her legs. It's real sex. We see everything. Alicia scratches his back. Calvin's skin is bleeding. Alicia is having multiple orgasms. We stay with them with serious cuts. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, futuristic structures, aerial view of New York City and many more. Int. FBI headquarters, main station, day. Special Agent Matt and Alicia walk down the bureau, conversing. In the background, we see agents working on their computers and talking, etc. Special Agent Matt, they arrested Caleb Fox at the airport last night. He's in the interrogation room. He said he would not talk to anyone but you. Int. FBI headquarters, interrogation room, day. Caleb Fox, 35, sits at a table. Special Agent Matt and Alicia enter. Alicia sits in front of Caleb. Alicia, hi, I'm Agent Alicia Love. Caleb, how do you do, Agent Love? You got erotic eyes. It goes with your sense of style. Alicia, thanks. Where should we start? Caleb, interrupting her, haven't they told you I took the 5th? Alicia, I just assumed you watched a lot of movies lately. Why don't you tell me about yourself? Caleb, what do you want to know? Alicia, what can you tell me about the pedal killer? He smiles sarcastically. Caleb, is this about the pedal killer? I thought you guys were going to hang me for hacking FBI database. I don't know anything about the pedal killer. I think Calvin might know something. Alicia, what's the story between you and Calvin? Caleb, we were friends, but he is not what you think he is. Caleb opens his shirt and shows her a tattoo, or black scars that reads, Sic enim dias dilexit mundum, ut filium suum unigenitum derit ut omnis qui credit in eum, non periat, sed habet vitam aeternam. John 3:16. Caleb, he did this to me with a laser pen 2 weeks ago, came behind unseen, injected my neck with a needle that had poison, and wrote these words. It's Latin. It means, For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Alicia, why did he write that? Caleb, you're fucking him. I saw you with him the other day. Why don't you ask him? Alicia, first of all, I fuck whoever I want to fuck. That's not your business. He interrupts her. Caleb, I didn't say it's my business. He is a very dangerous man. You should be careful. He is the devil. Alicia, derisively, thanks for the concern. The night Diana was killed I was with the Prince of Darkness. He didn't do it, which leave us with the Holy Spirit. Did you kill Diana? Caleb, I have nothing to say to you. I am not that stupid. I have said enough. You can speak to my lawyer. We pull out of the interrogation room as Alicia continues to question him. On the soundtrack, opera plays. Int. New York Opera House, night. A futuristic opera is in progress. It looks like Star Wars meet Pocahontas. A girl falls in love with an astronaut. Their love is doomed, because he is alien, a human being from another planet. She is a princess. It is a well-designed production as if we were watching a science fiction movie live. Alicia and Calvin sit in the box, watching the show. She then. Note, they are talking while watching the show. Alicia, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Calvin, what's that? Alicia, why don't you tell me? Calvin, I don't know what you are talking about. Alicia, Caleb said you wrote that on his chest with a laser pen 2 weeks ago. Calvin, he's crazy. He'll say anything to get out of his situation. There is a silent moment. She then. Alicia, did you do it? Calvin, no, I didn't. There is a silent moment. She then. Alicia, anyway, we should take some time off. I don't want to involve with the suspect till I straighten out the facts. Calvin says nothing. They continue to watch the show silently. Int. FBI headquarters, main station, Alicia's desk, day. Alicia sits at her desk working on her laptop. On her laptop, we see. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. It's written in equidistant letter sequence method, both in Latin and English. Alicia is trying to decipher the code. Then Mark approaches her with a note. Mark, they deciphered it. It's a website, www.godisdead.site. Mark gives her the note. Alicia types it in her laptop. It takes them to a hardcore sex website where people pay to watch live sadistic sex in deep web. We see all kinds of attractive girls engaging in dangerous sex in the ad. One of the advertisement is passion, girls are scourged and crowned with thorns like Christ. They are then raped and crucified on the cross till they die. Alicia is distrusted by it. Then comes to a video of a young attractive woman named Lillian, 20. Lillian is in a prison cell. She is about to be crucified. It says, watch live. Enter your credit card number, to continue. Alicia quickly types her credit card number. Lillian, who is in a prison cell, looks terrified. Two muscular men wearing S&M and masks enter. They take Lillian out of the prison cell, strip her clothes, nude, fuck her brutally, then tie her up on a column and begin to scourge her with flagrums that have lead balls and sheep bones. Alicia couldn't believe what she is looking at. Int. FBI headquarters, interrogation room, day. Caleb sits at the table watching the video. Caleb's lawyer Rick is present. Alicia and Mark question Caleb. In Alicia's laptop, we see Lillian crucified on the cross. Alicia, where does this video take place? Please tell us. We don't have a lot of time. Rick, my client doesn't know what you are talking about. He never visited this website in his life. Mark, let's cut to the chase. Why don't you let him talk? I'll make a deal with him. Rick, what kind of deal are we talking about? Mark, we won't press charge against him. He'll just be prosecuted for targeting the national information infrastructure. Rick, he's looking at 20 years for that. I know you can do better than that. Alicia, to Caleb, if you don't tell us where it's, she'll die any minute. Rick, he doesn't know where it's. Alicia looks at the video. Lillian is crying in pain. Alicia, we'll drop all charges. Just tell us where it's. Referring to the video, can't you see she is in a lot of pain? We have to rescue her. Rick, my client is not responsible for this. Caleb, cuts him off. Just go to 5498 Lower Manhattan. Caleb continues to talk, as we pull out of the interrogation room. Int. Erotic City, day. It is a big, larger-than-life, underground sex building. We see all kinds of erotic activities and sexual practices that are characterized by sadism and masochism. In one sections, girls dancing nude in cages with wild animals. If they make the slightest mistake, the animals will tear them apart. In another section, rich people watching sadistic live sex. There are vampire rooms where people have bloody sex, while sucking blood from each other. There are virtual reality sex rooms with various erotic sex videos. There are unthinkable sex rituals rooms where people engage in eccentric sex, bizarre S&M sex and BDSM rooms, while doing all kinds of drugs and drinking various alcoholic beverages, etc. Int. Erotic City, Passion Room, day. Lillian is on the cross. She is unconscious. EXT Erotic City, day. It is a 50-story building in the heart of New York City. We see about 40 FBI Special Weapons and Tactics teams, led by Special Agent Natalie Parker, advancing toward the building. Undercover FBI agents have already arrested the guards at the door. 2 helicopters are flying above the building. Snipers are in position. Alicia and Mark stand by FBI van, holding their guns. Special Agent Natalie Parker stand by an unmarked undercover FBI vehicle making calls. Special Agent Matt walks up to Alicia, who is also in charge of the infiltration. Special Agent Matt, how many people are inside the building? Alicia, we don't know for sure. There could be up to 25,000 people. Special Agent Matt, what about securities, are they armed? Alicia, I believe so. They're ex-Romanian commandos. Capable of taking out an army unit. Special Agent Matt, what's the girl's status? Alicia, she's unconscious. Shows him the video of Lillian on the cross on her cell phone. If we don't get there on time, she'll die of cardiac rupture and hypovolemic shock. Special Agent Matt, Natalie is calling the shot. Is that right? Alicia nods a little bit resentfully. She wishes she oversaw the entire operation. She can't wait to save the girl. Special Agent Matt takes out his cell phone and calls her. Special Agent Matt, on the phone. Hi, Natalie. We don't have a lot of time. We have to rescue her as soon as possible. EXT Erotic City, Natalie and Matt, day. Note, we see both sides of the conversation. Natalie, on the phone. I'm waiting for Navy SEAL to arrive. We're dealing with Romanian commandos. They are extremely dangerous. Special Agent Matt, on the phone I heard that. I don't want to compromise your mission, but the girl is dying. We have to save her in hurry. Natalie, those guys are trained to kill. If we rush it, they'll kill her anyway. 8 military jeeps, 24 Navy SEALs, come driving to the area. Natalie, on the phone, here they come. We'll move in a minute. The jeeps pull over near Natalie as she hangs up the phone. Kevin Strong, the leader of Navy SEAL team, gets out of the first jeep. He gives his men to position themselves as they get out of the jeeps, and walks up to Natalie. Kevin, hi, Natalie. Natalie, what's up, Kevin? Kevin, nothing much. They know each other very well, exchange hugs and kiss on the cheeks, greeting. Kevin, how are we going to do it? Natalie shows him the architecture of building, blueprint. Natalie, here. This is the architecture of the building. My teams have already positioned in the blue marks. I want you guys to move in the red marks. She gives him the copy. Kevin takes it. Natalie shows him a photo. This is Sergeant Radoy. He's Romanian. He owns the place. She gives him the photo. Natalie, I doubt if he's inside the building. But if he's inside, he could be in the purple room. We have to be careful. His bodyguards will not surrender. They're trained to fight to death. We pull out of the area as Natalie and Kevin continue to talk. Int. Erotic City, purple room, day. Sergeant, wearing only a woman underwear, sits between two nude attractive girls on a luxurious sofa. They all are doing drugs and drinking various alcoholic beverage, whiskey, vodka and martini while kissing and watching live sex, 4 guys having sadistic sex with 2 girls. Then a bodyguard comes behind Sergeant as he sniffs cocaine. The bodyguard whispers something by Sergeant's ear. Sergeant nods his head. The bodyguard walks away. Sergeant continues to watch the show while doing cocaine. And kissing the girls. Int. Erotic City, church room, day. It looks like a cathedral. We see a huge marble sculpture of Jesus Christ on the cross and all kinds of sculptures of saints and angels. People are partying, nude, as if it were the birth of the universe. Some of them are having sex. We see nude girls dancing in cages that are surrounded by fire, and many more things. Then, tear gases break through the glasses and fill the place with smoke. Navy SEALs, wearing oxygen mask, break through the glasses, church windows, and enter the building as the people move in chaos. The bad guys fire at the SEALs. The SEALs shoot and kill the bad guys as they advance throughout the place. Int. Erotic City, S&M rooms, day. Alicia, Mark, and 4 FBI SWAT move down the erotic rooms, drawing their guns. We see all kinds of sadism and masochism activities, right and left. Alicia, Mark, and the SWAT ignore these erotic activities, and continue to advance down the building. Int. Erotic City, Passion Room, day. Lillian is on the cross. The bad guys have abandoned the area. Alicia, Mark, and the 4 SWAT enter, drawing their guns. They point their guns at all directions, making sure it's safe. Alicia comes up to Lillian and begins to remove the nail from Lillian's feet with the pliers as Mark and the SWAT remove the nails from her hands. They slowly bring her down from the cross. SWAT 1 checks her pulse. SWAT 1, she's alive. Mark, let's take her out of here. They place oxygen mask on her mouth and cover her wounds with medical bandages. SWAT 1 carries her. Alicia, Mark, SWAT 2,3,4, and SWAT 1, carrying Lillian, walk toward the exit. Then a surprise attack, 2 bad guys come through the entrance with machine guns and fire at them. SWAT 1, who is carrying Lillian, is shot in the leg. He falls with Lillian. Alicia quickly takes a cover by a pillar. Mark and the other SWAT hide by columns as well. The bad guys continue to fire at them. Then, Alicia comes out of the hide, fires, and kills the bad guys with amazing speed. Bow. 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 The SWAT team look at her with surprise. Now they know she is in charge. Alicia, to the SWAT, you guys help him. To Mark, can you carry her? Mark, sure. Mark carries Lillian. SWAT 4 helps the injury SWAT. Alicia, we have to move. They continue to move as Alicia leads the way out. Int. Erotic City, S&M rooms, day. Alicia, Mark, carrying Lillian, and the SWAT 4 helping SWAT 1, move down S&M rooms. We still see erotic and sadistic activities throughout the place. The people don't know what's going on. They continue to engage in S&M sex, voyeurism, and all kinds of bizarre sexual activities, doing drugs, and quenching their thirst with alcohols. Some think it's part of the excitement. Then 3 bad guys appear with machine guns at the other end of the building. Alicia shoots and kills them with incredible speed. Bow. 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 2 more bad guys come behind them. SWAT 3 and SWAT 2 fire and kill them. Alicia, Mark, carrying Lillian, and the SWAT 4 helping SWAT 1, continue to move toward the exit. Int. Erotic room, purple room, day. Sergeant continues to watch live sex while doing cocaine. He then grabs a remote control from the coffee table and turns on the TVs, over 51 TV screens. On the TV screens, Sergeant sees his commandos fighting with SWAT and Navy SEALs. He can also watch some of the actions that are taking place in the erotic city. Sergeant gets up, walks up to his gun cabinet, and opens it, revealing all kinds of futuristic machine guns. There is a gold shirt and a gold pant. Surgeon puts on the pant and the shirt. He grabs a machine gun. Surgeon returns to the sofa, sits between the two attractive nude girls, and continues to watch live sex without a care in the world. Int. Erotic City, main club, day. SWAT and Navy SEALs vs Romanian commandos. They are going at it. The Romanian commandos fire and kill 2 SWAT. Navy SEALs fire and kill 4 Romanian commandos. All kinds of nude girls and S&M people run in chaos. SWAT and Navy SEALs and Romanian commandos continue to exchange fire. Some innocent people get shot in crossfire. Int. Erotic City, sex ritual rooms, day. Alicia, Mark, carrying Lillian, and the 4 SWAT continue to move down the building. We see more sadistic rituals and bizarre sexual activities. 3 bad guys appear with machine guns and fire at Alicia, Mark, Lillian, and the SWAT. Alicia pushes Mark and Lillian out of danger and hides. The SWAT hide as well. The bad guys continue to fire at them. Alicia then comes out of the hide, shoots and kills all of them. Bow. 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 She is a natural-born killer. Int. Erotic City, Purple Room, main gate, day. Kevin and his Navy SEALs come up to the Purple Room and take positions. Purple Room, salon. Surgeon, who continues to watch live sex, looks at Natalie, Kevin, and his Navy SEAL team in his TV screens. Surgeon gets up from the sofa with his machine gun and moves toward the main gate. Purple Room, main entrance. Surgeon sees 2 Navy SEAls moving toward the door. Surgeon, imitating Scarface, say hello to my mamacita. Surgeon fires at them. It's one of the meanest machine guns we have ever seen in our lives. With the pull of a trigger, the gun fires 25 bullets all over the place like a firework. It also shoots a rocket launcher. The SEALs are hit. They both go down. Natalie, Kevin, and SEALs takes a cover. Kevin then gives his men to fire. The SEALs fire at Surgeon. In the meantime, Kevin gives Natalie a nod. They come out of the hide and fire at Surgeon as well. Surgeon is hit in the chest multiple times. But the clothes that he is wearing are bulletproofs. He is not affected by the shooting. Surgeon fires at them. Bullets fly everywhere. The SEALs quickly hide. Surgeon continues to fire at them. Bullets hit 4 SEALs where they hide. Some of the bullets are capable of bending, others go straight and explode in the midair, spitting sharp and deadly metals all directions. In addition to that, there is a rocket launcher. It seems Surgeon is getting the best of them. Yet a Navy SEAL, Sniper, who has positioned himself in a key spot, gets Surgeon in a target and fires at him. The bullet hits Surgeon in the eye. Surgeon goes down and dies at the spot instantly. EXT Erotic City, day. We see a total chaos, nude, erotic, and S&M people exiting from the building in confusion. Alicia, Mark, carrying Lillian, and the 4 SWATs exit from the building. 2 FBI SWATs, paramedics, take Lillian from Mark. They place her in a medical stretcher and take her to an ambulance. In the meantime, 2 more FBI SWATs, paramedics, help SWAT one who is shot in the leg. Mark sees Alicia holding her side. Mark, are you okay? Mark looks at her hand. There is blood on Alicia's hand. Mark, you got shot. Alicia, acting tough, I'll be fine. It's only a flesh wound. Mark, let me look at it. Alicia collects her shirt and shows him the cut. A bullet might have grazed her skin, the side of her abdomen. Alicia, it's a scratch, don't sweat it. Mark, let me get first aid. I'll be right back. Mark runs to the paramedics as Alicia holds her wound. Mark asks the paramedics for first aid as they place Lillian in the ambulance. A paramedic gives him a first aid kit. Mark takes the kit and returns to Alicia. Mark opens the kit, looks at her wound. Mark, they might have to stitch it. I'll just cover it for now. Mark begins to apply first aid on Alicia's wound. Mark, this is going to burn a little bit. Mark cleans up the wound with medical alcohol. Alicia makes agony sound. Mark looks at Alicia's belly. He is a little bit aroused sexually. Alicia is taken by Mark's kindness, but notices that he is looking at her belly, perhaps some of her pubic hair. There is a little bit awkward moment. Mark plays it cool as he continues to apply first aid, cleaning the wound, applying medical alcohol, covering her wound with bandages, and fighting temptation. We pull out dexterously and take it with overhead shots. We see people running in confusion, journalists addressing news. FBI, SWAT, Navy SEALs and all kinds of law enforcement agents moving in chaos, etc. Int. CNN headquarters, newsroom, day. Amanda addresses news. Amanda, FBI rescued 350 sex slave workers from Romanian gangsters who called themselves the Transylvania Devils. 40 members of the Romanian commando were killed in a fierce battle. 59 people died, 70 injured including 23 SWAT and 10 Navy SEAL. In other news, New York State, scientists discovered extra dimensions of space after they collided particles at the speed of light with SLHC in western New York. SLHC, the Super Large Hadron Collider, is the world's largest and most powerful particle collider ever built. EXT SLHC headquarters, day. An established shot of SLHC headquarters, the Super Large Hadron Collider. It looks a plain structure. It is because the Super Large Hadron Collider is buried in a tunnel 60 kilometers in circumference and 400 meters beneath the ground. Int. SLHC, day. Inside, it is a different story. It is nothing like we have ever seen in our life. The Super Large Hadron Collider makes LHC a small roller coaster buried in the sand. It is the wonder of the world, one of the greatest technological innovations that mankind has ever built. Int. SLHC, Conference Room, Day. We see scientists, journalists, and all kinds of medias covering the news. SLHD teams that are led by Dr. Nicholas Leon, the head of SLHC, and Dr. Sandra Solomon, 31, CEO, address the finding. Dr. Nicholas, this is one of the greatest scientific findings in the history of mankind. It'll be featured in every physics book for centuries to come. It's more essential than Isaac Newton's theory of motion and Albert Einstein's theory of relativity and E equals mc2. A year ago, extra dimension was a thing of philosophy. Now we have a proof. Thanks to scientists who worked day and night, and people like Calvin Sebastian, Julia Mays, and George Mays, without them this would not have been possible. They built SLHC, the most expensive scientific institution in the planet, and gave us full control to run it. I thank them with all my heart. Dr. Sandra, we want to thank Mr. Sebastian again. He wrote the program that allowed us to see the particles escaping into extra dimension. Humorously, Mr. Sebastian, I feel awkward addressing you by your last name. You're like a lover that I've never had. I'll just call him, Calvin. I hope you're watching this, Calvin. If they're going to give us a Nobel Prize, they probably will, they should just give it to you without no sting attached. You're the best. We love you. The crowd clapped their hands, making all kinds of celebration sounds. Insert, SLHC, extra dimensions. We see particles moving in circle at the speed of light and colliding in SLHC. Then we see the debris escaping into extra dimensions. EXT Julia and George's mansion, night. An established shot of Julia and George's mansion. It's a multi-billion-dollar mansion. Breathtaking gardens, swimming pools, 24 big water fountains, various sculptures, 6 ponds that have bridges, 12 guest houses, museums, zoos, etc. Int. Julia and George's mansion, living room, party, night. A big party is in progress. We see astrophysics, businessmen, models, computer scientists, movie stars, businesswomen, and entrepreneurs mingling. Calvin converses with an attractive model named Amber Trevor. At the other end of the living room, an actress named Cecile sweet talks with a girl named Haley. Cecile is checking out Calvin. Calvin catches her eyes. She gives him a soft beautiful smile. Calvin returns her smiles. They both resume their conversation with their respectable companies. A man named Roger is recording the event. Int. Julia and George's mansion, party, later. The party continues in full swing. Cecile stands along with a glass of wine. Calvin approaches her. Calvin, hi, I'm Calvin. He gives her his hand to shake. Cecile sweet. They shake hands greeting. Calvin, you're an actress? Cecile, humorously I am a star. He smiles softly. Calvin, I saw the new movie that you just did, Wicked at Heart. It's pretty good. You kicked a lot of asses. Cecile, I was just having fun. Calvin, I think you gave an amazing performance, the best I have ever seen. They might as well give you Academy Award without announcing the nominees, or waiting for the date. They should just knock the door and give you the award. Cecile, I am flattered. But it's sad. They don't usually give out Academy Awards for action films. Calvin, why is that? Cecile, they have some issues, you know, just want to look wise. They don't understand the art behind action movies, the training, and all. Academy voting members just don't get it. Calvin, humorously maybe you should kick their asses too. She smiles in beauty. Cecile, I will think about it. But it means a lot to me that you went to a theater to watch the film. Calvin, I watched it in my laptop illegally. Cecile, I forgot you guys are a bunch of computer wizards. You can hack into the government's database and download secret files. Nobody says anything. Calvin smiles softly. Calvin, it is a joke. I don't download video illegally. I run NetCinema, a website that shows new and classic films in my spare time as a hobby. They send me a lot of new films before they release them in theater. Cecile, that is something. Calvin, you want to talk outside? They have beautiful garden. Cecile, why not? They begin to walk toward the exit. A waiter passes by Calvin, pushing a cart with bottles of wines and glasses, and other alcoholic beverages. Calvin dexterously grabs a bottle of wine and 2 wine glass. EXT Julia and George's mansion, gardens, night. Calvin and Cecile take a walk in the gardens conversing while sipping wines and looking at the amazing sculptures and beautiful water fountains. Cecile, they just discovered extra dimension of space. Now what's next? The existence of human soul. Calvin, I think they don't have to look further. They just have to look at you and weigh it again. Cecile, seriously, you think I'm all that? Calvin, I think God created you first before he created soul. It's just my opinion. To be honest, he must have created you before he even created his own breath. Your very existence is mystery, or rather a beautiful crime. You were around before the beginning of time. Cecile, that's the best compliment I have ever received, but tell me what turns you on? Calvin, anything that's beautiful. Cecile, like what? Calvin, like your eyes. Cecile, what about them? Calvin, they are eternal as if they were created first. And breathtaking like 2 volcanic lakes in Neptune. Where cherubs and seraphs come to quench their thirst. and dance with angels and goddesses of suns and moon. Yet, when they fall in love as if no heart were cursed, they shine brighter than the stars in warmest June, and make my essences ache till my heart and soul burst. She smiles in beauty. Cecile, you are a poet. Calvin, I have a moment. Cecile, what's your biggest fear? Calvin, I might drown in my own heart and live under the water as an angelfish, which my heart eventually would burst, and I fall in my belly and float without a lie, thinking about your beautiful eyes, paradoxically pretending to be a butterfly till the day I die. Cecile can't help smiling in beauty. She drinks the last glop of red wine. Calvin, who is holding the wine bottle, fills her glass. Cecile, I shouldn't be drinking, I have low alcoholic tolerant. I can't handle my liquor. Calvin, perhaps, you're too young to drink. Cecile, I'm not that young. I just turned 22. Calvin, humorously, you are still a little darling. Cecile, all of my friends are graduating from college this year. Calvin, humorously, you don't need schooling, do you? Cecile, my mind is empty. My breath seems running low. My heart has been aching since I laid my eyes on you, skipping beats as if I were looking at the love of my life. Calvin, is that so? Cecile, I don't mean to be rude, but my vagina had felt detached as if it were on ice in Antarctic for quite some time. It is for lack of sexual heat. Now all of a sudden, it's sweltering in hell. I need serious schooling. And something tells me you are the best teacher ever, better than Casanova. Calvin smiles in wonder, throws the bottle in the garden. Calvin, what do you desire above everything? Cecile, true love. Calvin, what scares you the most? Cecile, finding someone I want to spend the rest of my life with, and falling in love with that person till I go crazy. I fall in love easily. Calvin, humorously perhaps, you fell out of heaven. Cecile, are you into angels? Calvin, I'm into girls who think they're all that. Cecile, you're not talking about confidence, are you? Calvin, Lao Tzu said, health is the greatest possession. Contentment is the greatest treasure. Confidence is the greatest friend. Non-being is the greatest joy. Yet Lucinda Franks once said, Christmas in Bethlehem. The ancient dream, a cold, clear night made brilliant by a glorious star, the smell of incense, shepherds and wise men falling to their knees in adoration of the sweet baby, the incarnation of perfect love. I didn't know what she meant till now. You're like Christmas morning in Bethlehem, yet a beautiful dream, a cool, clear night made brilliant by glorious stars, the smell of perfume, saints falls to their knees in adoration of your sparkling eyes. You're the incarnation of gorgeous love in the purest form. Cecile, playing along, I don't believe you. Calvin, in all honesty, your beauty is timeless. I feel like I've known you my whole life. I think in the previous life, you were the best friend that I've ever had, the source of my joy, salvation, strength, and wisdom. Vision that the gods fashioned out of my dreams, and everything that's mystical, alluring and perfect. She is impressed, but plays it cool. Cecile, you're good. But I'm more comfortable with flaws than perfection. It gives me depth, some sort of insight, you know, in the sense that I can learn to love myself and take advantage of my flaws. I believe nature creates imperfection, just so we can stretch our imagination, not only challenge, and redefine principles that are subjective, as well as create new beliefs, but also excel in things that are objective. Regardless, I have always felt I can do anything if I put my heart into it. It begins to rain. They stand lips to lips. Calvin, what do you crave in life? Cecile, to kiss and be kissed till my lips bleed. They exchange soft kisses. Calvin, what do you consider an erotic kiss to be? They kiss French in the rain as lightning tears the skies. Int. Julia and George's villa, erotic museum room, night. We see all kinds of erotic paintings, sculptures and sensual photos of nude models and photos of people making loves. It looks like the Louvre, except most of the paintings and photos and sculptures capture human eroticism and deals with S&M, BDSM, sensuality and sexuality. Calvin and Cecile enter, kissing passionately. Calvin tears her wet dress. She is not wearing bra. Her tender breasts jump out like Aphrodite's lost heartbeats. Calvin bites her breasts seductively and sucks her nipples. She opens his shirt. They kiss more passionately. Calvin caresses her neck. They fall on the mattress that happens to be on the floor, and begin to make love. There are surveillance cameras, recording everything. Int. Julia and George's villa, museum room, later. Calvin and Cecile continue to make love surrounded by candles. It's steamy, seductive, and passionate. We stay with them with serious cuts. They would go at it with various sexual positions. Int. Temperature bar and club, day. Mark and Alicia sit at a table with glasses of whiskies. On the stage, a girl named Marta sings seductive blues. In the background, we see a couple of customers enjoying their outings. Mark, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Caleb said it was Calvin who wrote on his skin. Alicia, I asked him. He said he didn't do it. I believe him. Mark, let's assume he did it, and he lied about it. Hypothetically speaking, why did he write it? Alicia, my guess is as good as yours. Mark, what if he knew about Erotic City? He wrote that Bible scripture on Caleb's skin and contacted FBI. They were tipped by Anonymous. FBI would have never caught Caleb Fox. I think it's Calvin who tipped the bureau. Alicia, why would Calvin tip us? Mark, there is a bad blood between them that goes back when they used to work at Quantum Information System. Calvin wanted to use this opportunity and make Caleb his footstool. He wrote the code on Caleb's skin and gave him away. He knew we were going to decipher the code and found out about Erotic City. Caleb owns 75% of Erotic City, Sergeant only owns 25%. That's still big. But Caleb is the main figure behind Erotic City. He used 5 phony names to run the place. The only person who knew about that was Calvin. The information appeared on FBI computer miraculously as if someone was conducting the investigation privately. Who could it be if it's not Calvin? Alicia, that's just absurd. Mark, catch this, Caleb Fox is actually CIA informant, a hacker. He works for NFIS. Even though he was wanted by every law enforcement agency around the world, it is just a cover. He provides criminal information on cyber terrorists to Cyber Division for Central Intelligence Agency and National and Foreign Intelligence Service. Technically, the motherfucker is the employee of USA government. They might let him go with a slap on the wrist. Alicia, too much conspiracies. Mark, anyway, I'm not convinced that Caleb Fox is the pedal killer. His passport shows he was in France the night Diana was killed. Alicia, Calvin certainly didn't kill her. I was with him the whole time. Mark, so who killed Diana? Alicia, that's a good question. I think we'll have to re-examine the evidence we have and see where they lead. Mark, all the evidence lead to Calvin. We have his fingerprint on the murder weapons. We have his DNA all over the crime scenes. Who could have planted them? Alicia, it has to be someone who is obsessed with him. It's either someone completely stranger, or it could be somebody who knows him dearly. He's not telling me everything. Mark, let's assume it's someone who knows him dearly. Maybe it doesn't matter, but how come we didn't find a single DNA that indicates this so-called the pedal serial killer? Alicia, if you plan anything carefully, you could get away with almost anything. Mark, how do we know if he didn't hire a contract killer to have them murdered? Alicia, suppose that's true. First, he hired a contract killer to murder his wife and her lover. The contract killer murdered Calvin's wife and her lover. Not only did he brand Sarah with symbols, but he also left rose petals and a murder weapon that have Calvin's fingerprints as well. More importantly, what's the motive to kill Diana? Mark, he knew he was the prime suspect of the murder of his wife and her lover. And whether he killed them, or hired a contract killer, in his mind, that was a different story. So, in order to deceive us, he hired someone to kill Diana and made it look like a serial killer did it. He wants us to think the serial killer is obsessed with him. It's a work of a psychopath. The guy is genius. He even got you in the palm of his hand. Alicia, anyway, let's talk about something else. What happened to your last girlfriend, the supermodel? Mark, she didn't like the idea that I work with you. She left me out of jealousy. Alicia, that's not what I heard. She caught you fucking her best friend in the living room, and threatened to kill you with your gun. Mark, she's crazy. We were living together. She introduced me to her best friend. Later, her best friend wanted to stay with us, you know, till she found her own place, sort of a roommate. One day, I was alone watching TV. She came out of nowhere and stood in front of me without a single drop of cloth. What am I supposed to say? I'm sorry I can't do this. I'm dating your friend. Please, put on your cloths, and let's talk about your favorite music. We fucked like dogs. We didn't even hear her standing in the living room and watching us having sex. She grabbed my gun and shot the roof. That got our attention. She then threatened to kill us. I had to talk to her out of it. I told her I was in love with her best friend. I'd marry her whether she loved it, or hate it, and spend the rest of my life making her happy with every beat of my heart, the best friend. It wasn't just sex. It was the Holy Spirit that consumed us. I asked her nicely to give us her blessing. She fell for it and dropped the gun. Alicia, so, what happened next? You didn't marry her friend, did you? Mark, no, I was lying. I would have said anything to keep her finger away from the trigger. She was hurt like a virgin, who got fucked in the butthole, as if she were left in abyss without any knowledge. Alicia, I like the creed it was the Holy Spirit that consumed your guys. It couldn't have come at a better time. Mark, girls are like Russian roulette. If you keep pulling them long enough, they'll drive you crazy. And there is no telling if the next girl that you pull will blow your brain off. Sometime they come loaded. You don't have to pull the trigger. They'll bury bullet in your heart and end your life. Alicia, that's heartbreaking. Mark, anyway, do you want to dance? He gives her his hand to dance. Alicia takes his hand. They get up, come to the dance floor, and begin to dance slow. Mark, I remember the first time I saw you I thought you were the most riveting law enforcement agent I had ever seen. Alicia, I thought you were handsome too, but unpredictable. Mark, what do you mean by unpredictable? Alicia, I couldn't read your soul. There is something mysterious about you. Mark, is that a good thing or bad? Alicia, neither good nor bad, I just didn't know who you were. You were like a book that is kept in the dark. When I opened the book, the pages read blank. Mark, have it occurred to you to write the story of our lives in them, and give light to my heart? They get closer and kiss. Yet Alicia parts her lips. Alicia, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm sort of in a relationship. Mark, with a cold-blood killer. Alicia, not too seriously, go fuck yourself. I'm going home. When she is about to leave, Mark grabs her arm. Mark, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Let's just sit and talk. We have more in common than you think. Alicia, it's late. I have to wake up in the morning. Mark, I promise I won't keep you up all night. Alicia, mockingly by his lips, I am wet. Do you think that means I am in love? Mark, they said love is nothing but scent of a woman that breezes at the depth of a man's soul. You're excessively blessed with beauty, grace, fate and authenticity, aura, and inner strength and harmony, in which your airiness is the source of this divine perfume and phenomenon. But I'll try not to breathe in too much, and dream about you, day and night, you wearing only my dress shirt and standing in my bedroom porch in the twilight while counting the stars in the tangerine soft reddish and purple skies. The glass doors are left open. Your voluptuous buttocks are showing off. I am lying on my bed naked, lure you inside with a little bit psychic power. You would come inside. I would let you do most of the anointing with kisses and caresses. You can ride me cowgirl style all night long if you want to, unless of course if you ask for aroma of a real man, may then God has mercy on your soul. I will let you have it. Alicia, that's quite inviting, but tell me something dirty. Mark, I will eat you out till your clit goes ill sexually and get locked in asylum, a cruel carnal institution. And then fuck the living hell out of you till your G-spot asks for real asylum and take refuge in your belly. Alicia, that's not dirty enough. Mark, I did sense you would say something like that. But I didn't finish. I would then fuck you every sexual position known to humanity, animals, beasts and the demons in hell, and come on your lips. Alicia, I know you can do better than that. I have heard dirtier. Mark, what are you suggesting? Alicia, I am not suggesting anything. I just thought you were a starboy. Mark, okay. If you put it down like that. I would just fuck you doggy style maliciously till your pussy trades place with your butthole, and come on your ass. Alicia, mockingly I like that. But I would prefer you fuck me in the ass till it trades place with my vagina, and come on my tits. Mark, that was supposed to be a joke. But honestly, I will fulfill the desires of your heart, nothing less nothing more. Alicia, you'll not keep up with me. Mark, is that a challenge? Alicia, no. It's a fact. My uncle used to say, nobody is worth your hour, if they don't have something that can change your life, minute, if they don't give you an overwhelming urge to do something exciting, or go on a new adventure, second, if they don't give purpose to your life, nanosecond, if they don't make your heart skip beat. You don't even worth your own time if you don't do anything, or have the heart to live a life true to yourself. Mark, jokingly, did he fuck you? She can't help smiling. Alicia, you are an asshole. Mark, I am fucking with you. But they said, you will always regret what you didn't do rather than what you did. Alicia, I am counting on it. But I will take rain check. I'm not in the mood for sleeping with my best friend. I did it before. It felt awkward. Mark, that means no sex for us tonight? Alicia, just no sex for you tonight, not with me. I have to go, bye. Alicia walks away. On the soundtrack, music plays. Mark looks at her with longing as she exits. Mark, under his breath, bitch. You got me. He then turns his eyes and looks at a young attractive woman. It's Mia. She looks bewitching, checking Mark out like a diamond ring that she is going to throw in the river the next day, whatever that means. She gives him a soft seductive smile. He walks up to her. They greet and strike up a conversation. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, night. Alicia drives in the streets of New York City. On the soundtrack, music continues to play. Int. Alicia's house, day. An established shot of Alicia's house. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving, parks her car in front of her house, gets out of her car, and walks toward her house. On the soundtrack, music continues to play. Int. Alicia's house, living room, night. Alicia removes her clothes one by one as she walks toward the bathroom. Alicia's house, bathroom, night. Alicia, who is only wearing underwear, comes up to the tub, opens the faucet, and begins to fill the tub with hot water and soap. Alicia then comes up to the bathroom mirror and looks at her image. She removes her underwear and slowly caresses her private part with sensuality while gazing at her image in the mirror. Alicia exits the bathroom. Alicia's house, kitchen, night. Alicia walks in, nude. She comes up to the refrigerator, opens the refrigerator, grabs sushi and closes the refrigerator. Alicia sits at the breakfast table and eats the sushi with chopsticks. Alicia then gets up and walks into the living room. Living room. Alicia comes up to her private bar, grabs a scotch, and pours the liquor in a whiskey glass. Alicia returns to the kitchen with her scotch. Kitchen. Alicia sits at the breakfast table and continues to eat her sushi while sipping scotch. Int. Alicia's house, night. Alicia lies in the bathtub, surrounded with candles. Her eyes are closed. On the soundtrack, the music continues to play soulfully. Alicia then slowly brings down her hand and begins to stimulate her clitoris in masturbation. Close up, Alicia. Her face looks relaxed at first as if she were dreaming. Then passion takes over. Her face turns into red. She begins to sigh in and out with pleasure, and takes a deep breath as she reaches climax. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City in the night, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, futuristic buildings, aerial view of New York City, millions of cars driving in the streets of New York City and many more. Ext/int. Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives in the street of New York City. Ext Amber's house, morning. An established shot of Amber's house. It's a 3-bedroom house. It has a swimming pool, tennis court, water fountain, and others. We see cops, media, TV vans, police cars, paramedics, and law enforcement agencies moving around. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving and parks her car next to Amber's house. Alicia gets out of her car and walks toward the house as the journalists and media personalities ask her all kinds of questions. The police officers push the journalists aside, keep them at bay, making ways for Alicia. Int. Amber's house, bedroom, day. The dead body of Amber lies on the bed, nude. We see the infamous symbols on her body, 2 crosses on her cheeks, crosses of Lorraine on her forehead. A major cross consists of a vertical line crossed by 6 shorter horizontal bars on her midsection, from her chest down to her belly, and 2 small crosses on her breasts, 2 crosses of Lorraine on her thighs. The blanket is covered with blood. Rose petals can be seen all over the crime scene. FBI forensic team Tyler and Megan collect evidence. Dr. James examines the body. Ryan photographers the corpse. Mark takes a note. At the entrance, Alicia walks in. Mark approaches her. Mark, Amber Trevor, a model, age 24. Time of death between 2 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. She was beaten, raped, stabbed and branded with symbols. Same old story. The forensic found Calvin's fingerprint on the murder weapon. His DNA is all over the crime scene. They also found Caleb Fox dead in his jail cell this morning. Someone put poison in his food last night. Alicia puts her medical gloves and examines Amber's body. Alicia, to Dr. James, what's the cause of her death? Dr. James, a stab wound in her neck. Hypovolemia. Alicia continues to examine the body. Ext Q-Tech headquarter, sunset. An established shot of Q-Tech headquarter in the sunset. Int. Q-Tech headquarter, Calvin's office, sunset. Mark questions Calvin. Alicia stands by the window, looking at the spectacular view of New York City in the sunset. Mark, where were you last night? Calvin, I was with Cecilia Sweet at SLHC party. Mark, we watched a video that was recorded at the party. You were seen talking to Amber Trevor. Calvin, just innocent conversation, is all. Mark, did you guys have sex? Calvin, no, we didn't. Mark, so, how come your semen end up in her vagina cavity? Calvin, I have no idea. Someone must have placed it there. Calvin grabs a remote control and plays a video. On the TV screen, we see Calvin and Cecilia making love. Calvin, I didn't kill her if that is what you are saying. I was with Cecilia the whole time. This is a surveillance video in the museum that I borrowed from Mr. and Mrs. Mays. Alicia looks at the video, turns around and walks into Calvin's second office. Calvin follows her. Int. Q-Tech headquarter, Calvin's office 2, sunset. It looks like a big living room. We see expensive paintings on the wall. Alicia walks up to Calvin's private bar. Calvin enters the office. Alicia, pouring scotch in a glass. Why, Calvin? Calvin, it was your idea. You made it clear. You said you didn't want to involve with a suspect. Alicia, I was just kidding. I mean I can't involve with a suspect. Fuck. I don't know what I am talking about. I am in love with you. I can't stop thinking about you. She drinks the scotch in one breath, throws the glass away, and walks up to him. They kiss passionately. Calvin rips Alicia's dress. She tears his shirt. Buttons fly everywhere. Calvin rips her underwear. She opens his pant. They kiss more passionately. He places her on a table, gets between her legs. They kiss French. They begin to make love. Calvin picks her up and slams her against the window as they continue to have sex. In the background, we see New York City in the sunset. They kiss more passionately. Int. Q-Tech, Calvin's suite, bedroom, night. Calvin and Alicia continue to make love. In the background, we see the spectacular view of New York City in the night. Calvin continues to enter Alicia deliciously. She is burning with climax, having multiple orgasms. See you, Calvin and Alicia. They kiss passionately. Note, we will stay with them with series cuts as they continue to make love with various sexual positions. Ext Q-Tech headquarter, rooftop, bathtub, night. Clear skies, bright moon, sparkling stars. The spectacular view of New York City in the night. Candlelight. Calvin and Alicia sit in the bathtub that is placed on top of Q-Tech headquarter. Alicia rests on Calvin's chest with her eyes closed. Calvin is behind reciting William Shakespeare's Sonnet 151. Love is too young to know what conscience is from memory. Calvin, softly down by her neck. Love is too young to know what conscience is. Yet who knows not conscience is born of love. Then, gentle cheater, urge not my amiss. Lest guilty of my faults thy sweet self prove. For, thou betraying me, I do betray my nobler part to my gross body's treason. My soul doth tell my body that he may triumph in love, flesh stays no farther reason. But rising at thy name doth point out thee as his triumphant prize, proud of this pride. He is contented thy poor drudge to be. To stand in thy affairs, fall by thy side. No want of conscience hold it that I call her love, for whose dear love I rise and fall. He kisses her on the shoulder. There is a silent moment. Alicia's eyes remain closed. She then. Alicia, with her eyes closed, do you believe in God? Calvin, maybe. Alicia, what do you mean maybe? Calvin, I want to believe in God who created us in his own image, but I don't want to think God is limited. I mean, look at the sun. The sun is just one of 100 billion of stars in the Milky Way. There are billions of galaxies in the observable universe. Some scientists believe there are multiple universes. Cosmos is infinite. There could be the exact copies of us in parallel universes. Yet we're stuck in a tiny planet called Earth. Compared to the universe, Earth is not even a grain of sand, which brings us to God that created us in his own image. You see, image is not only how your eyes, nose, ears, and lips form on your face, but also your personality, essence, and limitation. Can we fly like birds? We can't even reach our shoulder blades and scratch our back. So, one day, we'll grow wings and fly like the angels in heaven. Can we teleport and come to a parallel universe and meet our copies? That won't happen for another 14 billion of years. Can we travel at the speed of light and visit planets that support life? We can't even breathe in moon. Can I be invisible and kiss your lips in the night while you're sleeping and dreaming about love? The heart is more corrupted than Babylon. Kisses her on the shoulder. There are a lot of limitations of this God image of us. I don't believe God has any limitation. God is pure. God is omnipotent. If God create the universe, we should be as supreme as the stars in the skies, and travel to the past, future and present in ease. If God creates the stars, all our wishes should come true and strive for excellence, and perhaps perfection. If God create multiverse, we should walk through thin air, access hidden dimensions and visit multiple universes as we please. If God created infinity, we should be as limitless as he is. She opens her eyes. Alicia, how do you know God is a man? It could be a female. Calvin, perhaps, like I said earlier, there is a parallel universe where people believe that Creator is a woman, or rather a goddess that created everything. She came to Earth in human form as Alicia. Instead of crucifixion, they burned her at stake like Joan of the Arc. She rose from the ashes like Phoenix and ruled the universe, and she happens to be sitting in the bathtub with me, and making my heart skip beats with her sense of presence. Alicia, tell me something I don't know. Calvin, what do you want to hear? Alicia, with her eyes closed, have you ever been truly in love? Calvin, softly down by her neck, yes, I have. He kisses her on the shoulder. Alicia, with her eyes closed, let me hear it. Calvin, softly down by her neck. Love left me humble. Romance has brought me nothing but trouble. A voice in my head tells me it's simple. Speak now, or forever hold your breath. As if I were in a wedding chapel. Hearts neither beat nor bleed in vain, yet care. The brain can always say it's insane, yet fair. Love doth heal aches, hurt, and pain, yet dare. And with a little bit kiss, we can set our souls on fire again, yet share. There is nothing like passion. That doesn't wait for tomorrow. The flame that burns within. Every inch of my bone marrow. Your beauty refuses to free my heart. But unleash my instinct and skyrockets my ego. Don't say you know in the biblical sense. Something that you don't know. I want to make love to you. Till every star in the skies falls like snow. Let the seraphs in heaven and saints in earth call me weirdo. We might as well get down and dirty. Have sexual intercourse as if we were dancing disco. More than that, and on top of everything. Let me kiss your lips till I am out of breath. And forget nicknames that I thought about calling you. Angel, cutie pie, dream girl of mine, sweet baby. Alicia in Wonder Heart, sexy love, French kiss, and kiddo. Die in your heart, bury a promise in your soul that lights every cell in your body to the highest degree. After you feel throbbing and aching at the core. As if you were left as a widow. To kiss and caress you from your head to your toes. Till my lungs collapse inside my body and turn into feathers as if they were emptied out of Cupid's pillow. Hit it raw till my soul leaps out of my heart. And draw the portrait of you in the steams that escapes from our souls, and stain the window. Hold you next to my heart and kiss your sweet lips. As if you were the life that was placed in my soul. And doesn't need any intro. However, a tulip that grows in my essence. And floats in my belly without info. The angels might say love is what it seems. Passion, confusion, faith, romance, and destiny hidden. In serendipity, craving, metaphors that flow like streams. Eyes that are radiant and innocent, yet knows few schemes. Lips that are delicious and generous, yet emit steams. Mind that are relaxed and chaotic, yet peacefully deems. Liver that removes toxic, yet screams. An essence that produces emotions, yet discharges beams. And true love can only be deciphered in a heart full of dreams. Be that as it may, yet, yonder, you are more enchanting than magnolias in the Garden of Eden. Which thrives in gravity happy with zero. And wine that flow in my veins. More intoxicating than noir and colorful than pinto. Every time my eyes see you, my soul says bingo. And darling, I am in love with you. Let my heart exhale into the twilight. Wishing to the stars what may, what might. Giving the last thought to flight and fight. And not knowing what is wrong and right. This feeling the depth of my soul. Wants to kiss you day and night. So, let me leave everything behind. And pretend I have always been theist. May my quintessence kiss your lips till I have out-of-body experience and turn into a geist. Plant a covenant in your heart as if you had found a treasure that holds the secret of life, and in which true love is brought into existence. A beat of my heart that Aphrodite had tried to heist. It's more divine than the Holy Grail. The chalice, that once held the blood of Christ. And let's quench our thirst, make love. And have the greatest tryst. Let your pain breeze to my spirit. And give me a kiss that is to die for. I will whisper to you a secret. That opens every cell of your heart's door. And beautiful love that is forevermore. She smiles in beauty. Alicia and Calvin kiss French. On the soundtrack, music comes. Int. Q-Tech, Calvin's suite, bedroom, night. Alicia and Calvin make love. We stay with them for a bit. Montage New York City. A quick take of New York City, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, an aerial view of New York City. Int. FBI headquarter, main station, Alicia's desk, day. Alicia sits at her desk working on her laptop, looking at Calvin's background. Special Agent Matt walks up to her with a plastic bag that has a microchip. Special Agent Matt, the forensic found this microchip inside Caleb Fox's abdomen, the lower left side of the abdomen. He must have placed it himself. The scar in his skin shows 6 years. Alicia, what's it? Alicia looks at it. Special Agent Matt, it's Silicon Mini Video. It can only be played with SVP. We don't have SVP at the moment. I ordered it online a couple minutes ago. It'll arrive sharp 1 PM at your desk. Int. FBI headquarter, Alicia's desk, later. Matt and Alicia look at the video with SVP player. We see a young attractive woman, unknown, dancing, singing, playing guitar, walking in the beach, etc. It is done video music style. Music is plays soulfully on the soundtrack of the video. Special Agent Matt, who's she? Alicia, she could be anybody. Caleb erased all his past profile. There is no record that shows his background. They watch the video more. The girl is sensual. Whoever records the video has captured her sensuality in a beautiful way. We can't help falling in love with her as she does various things that melt any man's heart, like moving between bed sheet, nude, swimming, playing piano, dancing, etc. Yet, we see no name. Special Agent Matt, I want you to run her face on facial recognition software and check if she has any criminal record, or anything. Alicia nods her head. Matt walks away. On the soundtrack, music plays. Alicia copies the girl's face, pastes it on a blank page and saves it in a disk. Alicia then places the disk in her laptop and runs the girl's face on facial recognition software. It comes out nothing, no information. Alicia rewinds the video and looks at the girl's orange shirt. She zooms it. It reads, Philosophy is a guide of life. Montage, New York State. A quick take of New York State, it will be added during filming. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives in the freeway of New York State. On the soundtrack, music continues to play. EXT University of Syracuse, day. Various shots of the University of Syracuse. EXT University of Syracuse, Phi Beta Kappa Sorority House, day. An established shot of Phi Beta Kappa Sorority House. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving and parks her car in front of the building. Alicia gets out of the car and walks toward the house. Int. Phi Beta Kappa Sorority House, Emily's office, day. Alicia and Emily, the head of Phi Beta Sorority, look at a list of photographs, sorority girls yearbook. They are matching the girl's photographer in the computer database. Alicia and Emily find the girl. Her name reads Jane Reed. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, night. Alicia drives in the street of New York State. Montage, Buffalo. A quick take of the city of Buffalo, Buffalo skyline, Peace Bridge, the Niagara River and many more. EXT Mr. and Mrs. Reed's house, day. An established shot of Mr. and Mrs. Reed house. It's a luxurious 4-bedrooms house. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving and parks her car in front of the house. Alicia gets out of the car, walks up to the house, and rings the bell. The door opens revealing Mrs. Reed. Alicia shows Mrs. Reed her badge and asks her if she can come inside. Mrs. Reed lets her in and closes the door. Int. Mr. and Mrs. Reed's house, living room, day. Alicia sits at a table, looking at the photos of Jane Reed. In the background, Mr. Reed can be seen watching ice hockey in the TV. Mrs. Reed comes up to the table with a cup of coffee, and places the coffee next to Alicia as she continues to look at the photos. Alicia, thanks. Mrs. Reed, did you see anyone you know? Alicia, not yet. Mrs. Reed, even in college, she never wrote, or called us. We had to go to Syracuse and visit her. Could she be in Paris? She always wants to go to Europe. Alicia looks at Jane's graduate photographs. She looks at a familiar face in the background. It's Caleb Fox. Alicia takes out Caleb's photo from her file. Alicia, to Mrs. Reed, have you seen this man before? Mrs. Reed, she takes the photo and looks at it. No. I've never seen him in my life. Wait a second. Let me show it to Jeremiah. Mrs. Reed walks up to Jeremiah. Mrs. Reed, have you seen this man before, Jeremy? Mr. Reed looks at the photo. Mr. Reed, no. Mr. Reed gives her the photo back. Mrs. Reed returns to Alicia. Mrs. Reed, he said he's never seen him either. Alice has heard him. She gives Mrs. Reed a polite smile as Mrs. Reed hands the photo back to Alicia. Alicia, referring to the graduate photos, let me borrow these photos. I will bring it back. Alicia gets up. Mrs. Reed, I can't wait to hear from her. She abandoned us like we've never loved her. I hope you find her alive. Alicia, I'll do everything in my power to get in touch with her. She opens the door. Alicia, I'll see you. Mrs. Reed, have a nice day. Alicia, goodbye, Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed, watching hockey, farewell. Alicia exits the house. EXT Mr. and Mrs. Reed's house, day. Alicia comes up to her car, opens the door, and enters. Int. Alicia's convertible, day. Alicia looks at the photos again. She focuses on photos of Jane's best friend who appears in the majority of the photographs. Alicia turns on her laptop and looks at the girl's name in the Syracuse yearbook. Her name is Nicole Phelps. Alicia looks at Nicole's address in the web. It says Brooklyn, New York. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives back to New York City. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, aerial view of New York City and many more. EXT Nicole Phelps's house, day. An established shot of Nicole's house. It is a 4-bedroom splendid house. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving and parks her car next to Nicole's house. Alicia gets out of the car and walks toward the house. Int. Nicole's Phelps's house, living room, day. Alicia and Nicole sit at a coffee table talking. Alicia, when was the last time you saw her? Nicole, about 6 years ago. She shows her the photo of Caleb Fox. Alicia, do you know this man? Nicole, yes. It is Caleb Fox. They were dating. Then the guy who owns Q-Tech. Calvin came between them, or rather she fell in love with him. They secretly began to have affair. Caleb found out about it, and threatened to kill her. Later, she left the country without telling anybody. Nobody knows where she is. On the soundtrack, music plays. Alicia and Nicole continue to talk. We pull out from Nicole's house dexterously. EXT Demi Coffee Shop, day. Calvin sits at a table with a cup of coffee. He is reading the Wall Street Journal magazine that has the cover of himself. On the soundtrack, music plays. Calvin then sees Mia walking on the sidewalk. Calvin puts the magazine aside, gets up, takes out $1,000, places the money on the table, and follows her. Mia crosses the street and walks into a fashion department store. Calvin crosses the street and walks into the fashion department store as well. Int. Fashion department store, day. Mia stands looking at a breathtaking lavender translucent dress. Calvin walks up to Mia. Calvin, it is a beautiful dress. She looks at him, a little bit surprised. Mia, what's up? Calvin, nothing much. Mia, what are you doing here? Calvin, I was sitting at a coffee shop across the street, saw you walking on the sidewalk, and followed you here. This is a lovely dress. If you don't mind, I'd love to buy it for you. Mia, thanks. But no thanks. I can offer it myself. Calvin, I didn't say you can't offer it. I just insist on buying it as a gift. I think you look good in it. Grabs the dress and gives her the gown. Why don't you try it? Mia looks at him intimately. She then takes the dress. Mia, since you insist, I'll just try it. She goes to the dressing room. Int. Fashion department store, minutes later. Mia comes out of the dressing room wearing the lavender see-through dress and shows Calvin the dress. Calvin couldn't believe how bewitching she looks. Mia, what do you think? Calvin, you look enchanting. Mia, under her breath, thanks. Calvin, would you like to have dinner with me tonight? Mia, are you asking me out a date? Calvin, something like that. She gets closer to his lips. Mia, yes. I'd love to have dinner with you. She puts her arms around him. They kiss French. On the soundtrack, music plays. Int. Restaurant, night. Calvin and Mia, who is wearing the same transparent lavender gown, sit at the table enjoying shrimp cocktail and chicken salad with glasses of wines. On the stage, a girl named Lucy sings a romantic song. Mia, you do what you have to do to survive. We're here for such a short time. We must trust our instinct and make the best out of bad situations. Calvin, you don't have to sell your body to anyone. I can help you if you want to start something. Mia, like what? Calvin, anything, I'll buy you a boutique if you want to. Mia, that's a thought of you. But I can't see myself running a boutique shop. I mean, I don't like the idea of standing one place and selling clothes. It'll agitate me. I'm claustrophobic. Calvin, not just a regular boutique. It's a big franchise. You can start your own fashion trend under the name of Mia, open stores in major cities, and travel around the world. Mia, the name Mia is taken. Calvin, that won't be a problem. You can always come with a new name. Mia, what do you think, XXX? Calvin smiles softly. Mia, not XXX. But TRIPLEXXX. Calvin, whatever works. Mia, I am fucking with you. It's just a thought. You know, I made $200,000 a night in deep web alone. I don't like a lot of responsibilities. Calvin, you have to find something safe. You're an exceptionally beautiful girl. Why don't you start a family and live your life to the fullest? Be the master of your fate, and have fun without a worry in the world. Mia, will you marry me? Calvin, I'd love to, but you don't want to marry me. I'm a bad husband. Mia, you're a great lover, and amazing in bed. Calvin, that's just sex. Mia, sex is the most important ingredient for an exceptional relationship. Calvin, relationship and commitment are two different things. Relationship can be established through physical intimacy. But commitment requires a lot of emotions and availability. I spend hours programming. I can't commit to a marriage. That's why my wife had an affair in the first place. I wasn't there when she needed me the most. I let her down. Mia, that's just an excuse. Calvin, I'll end up hurting you. Mia, no, you won't hurt me. I'm strong. Calvin, I've hurt a lot of people's feelings. I'm not what you think I am. Mia, never mind. Calvin, trust me, you're better off without me. Mia, anyhow, I'm thinking about going to Hollywood and pursuing acting. Calvin, acting is beautiful. Just let me know if you need any help financially. I'll produce all your movies. Mia, thanks. But I don't need help financially. I need help emotionally. Why don't you move to Hollywood with me? Calvin, my life is in New York City. I just can't pick up my stuff and leave. Mia, why not? You have a couple of beautiful mansions in Los Angeles. Calvin, yeah, but if I leave now, Q-Tech will lose billions. Mia, you're married to your work. Calvin smiles softly. Calvin, you can stay in one of my houses. I'll visit you every chance I get. Mia, I'll think about it. Referring to the food, anyhow. What's this food? It tastes like sardine. You want to go to a supermarket? Let me cook for you. Calvin, in one condition, we'll do it in my house. Mia, why is that? You don't trust me? Calvin, humorously, I trust you with all my heart and soul. I just don't trust the video cameras in your house. He gives her a wink. Mia gives him a seductive smile. Calvin gives the head waiter a sign for check. On the soundtrack, music comes. Calvin and Mia continue to talk without a sound. Int. Supermarket, night. Calvin and Mia shop. On the soundtrack, the music continues to play. Calvin and Mia are putting all kinds of groceries in their shopping cart. They stand lips to lips and talk between soft kisses. They then kiss intimately. Int. Calvin's house, kitchen, night. Calvin and Mia cook, pasta, shrimp salad and vegetables, while conversing and drinking glasses of red wines. Mia then comes behind Calvin and touches his private part over his pants seductively. She tells him something. Calvin turns around and faces her. They talk between soft kisses. Mia then opens Calvin's pant and goes down. When she is about to give him a blowjob, Calvin quickly picks her up. They kiss more passionately. He lifts her up, removes the food, bread and shrimp salad, from the kitchen table, crashing them on the floor. He puts her on the kitchen table. They kiss more intimately. Calvin slowly removes her underwear. She unbuttons his shirt. They kiss and begin to make love. Calvin picks her up and slams her against the refrigerator as they continue to have crazy sex. Calvin then places her on the sink. Mia sits on top of the sink, her back resting on the wall. She spreads her legs seductively, strokes her vagina, licks her fingers, and stimulates her clitoris lightly to tempt him. It is pure pornography. Calvin grabs a mobile faucet that has a hose, turns the water, and sparkles it on her vagina alluringly. Calvin cuts the water, grabs his cell phone from the kitchen counter, turns on the water back, and sparkle it on Mia's vagina while recording everything with his cell phone. Mia smiles in beauty. They are having a lot of fun. To add a little bit excitement to the game, Mia grabs a liquid soap, pours it on her vagina, applies it throughout her vulva, making bubble, and begins to stimulate her clitoris vigorously as Calvin continues to record her, sprinkling water on her pussy. Calvin then sprinkles the water on Mia's breasts. Mia squeezes the soap on her tits and rubs her breasts with the soap sensually as Calvin continues to record her. She is enjoying it. Calvin then sprinkles the water on her face. Mia closes her eyes and lets Calvin wet her. It's alluring. Time freezes in our hearts for a couple of seconds as if we were dreaming with her in the rain. She then shakes the water from her hair like a mental patient, who is possessed by beautiful sense of sensuality, and sprinkles him back. Calvin puts his cell phone aside, gets between her legs, showers her more, pulls her hair, and kisses her lips. They kiss French. He drops the faucet, grabs her buttocks, and enters her as they continue to make love. He then turns her around and fucks her behind. In the meantime, the food on stove continues to heat. Calvin pulls Mia's wet hair and caresses her neck, and they kiss passionately as he continues to enter her behind. In the moment of passion, they knock the pasta sauce on the floor. They look at it and smile at each other. They continue to kiss. Mia then reaches the pasta, vegetables, a bottle of wine, and 2 glasses of wines, and knock them down on the floor in purpose. She then opens the refrigerator, garbs a jar of milk, and pours everything on the floor as if she were telling him to make love to her on the floor. We see foods, red wine, milk, and broken glasses mixed with sin that's unknown to humankind yet. Calvin doesn't have to be told, kisses her lips, brings her down on the floor. They continue to make love on the floor that is smoking like sentimental exploitation. As they roll over, we see blood on Mia's back. The glass has cut Mia's skin. She doesn't seem to mind. She gets on the top of Calvin and rides him seductively. Calvin then rolls with her, gets her in the bottom, and kisses her as he enters her. They are covered with sauce, vegetables, pasta, wine, and broken glasses. In the meantime, the stove heats up due to some of the food and water on the heater, covering the kitchen with more seductive steam. Close up, Calvin and Mia. They kiss more passionately as they continue to make love. Int. Calvin's house, shower room, day. Calvin and Mia continue to make love in the shower box while showering. We see blood on the shower floor. Int. Calvin's villa, bedroom, night. Calvin and Mia continue to make love. It's sensual, erotic, seductive, and passionate. We see Mia in tremendous sexual passion as Calvin enters her spirit between her legs enchantingly. The bed sheet is covered with blood. Mia gets on the top and rides him sweetly. Calvin pulls her hair, places her back at the bottom, puts her leg on his shoulder, and continues to enter her soul deliciously. It is one of the best love scenes in the history of cinema. Note. We'll stay with them serious cuts as they continue to make love with various sexual positions. Int. Calvin's house, living room, bathtub, night. Calvin and Mia sit in the bathtub that is placed in the middle of the living room surrounded by candles. Mia rests on Calvin's chest. Calvin is behind reciting William Shakespeare's Sonnet 18, Shall I compare to thee to a summer's day, while nursing Mia's back with first aid. They are also watching movie, Niagara starring Marilyn Monroe, Joseph Cotton, Jean Peters, and Casey Adams. Calvin, softly down by her neck. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. And summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. And often is his gold complexion dim. And every fair from fair sometime declines. By chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade. Nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. When in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see. So long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Calvin kisses her on the shoulder. Mia, I love Shakespeare. His sonnets are timeless, but I like his plays better, especially Hamlet. I played Ophelia in high school. Calvin, I didn't know that. Mia, I majored theater in college before I dropped out sophomore year. I then become a stripper, and got into deep web. I have always been good with computer. My stepbrother, not related by blood, my mother married his father, is a hacker. He set up the account for me. I just let my instinct guide me, or rather take over. But I am thinking about quitting soon and doing something else. Calvin, that is good. Mia, anyhow talking about Hamlet. I have always fascinated by the play, you know, how Prince Hamlet is visited by his father's ghost, King Hamlet. The ghost ordered Hamlet to avenge his death by killing his uncle, King Claudius, and how he lost his mind, and all that drama. It shows you how fragile the mind is, and whether the supernatural leads us to the truth, or madness. Calvin, Hamlet is classic. Mia, in general, I think the devil just wants the distraction of your soul. You hear voices in your head. You don't really know the source of the voice, if whether it's originated from your subconscious mind, or it's a separate entity. You know, I think I'm diagnosed with auditory hallucination, or perhaps schizophrenia. I hear voices in my head like Marilyn Monroe. There are forces beyond our understanding. They thrive on your pain, agony, and discomfort. I think that's why religions have survived all those years. We still believe in things that were written over 4,000 years ago, how God created heaven and earth in 6 days, and rested in the 7th day, despite the fact scientists tell you the universe was created in a Big Bang around 14 billion years ago. Is it because we have no control over our thoughts? Or maybe salvation comes in the form of God. There are sins in my life that I can't seem to conquer. I just pray that the angels in heaven pick me up and place me in your heart for forever and ever, and I would make love to you till hell freeze over. Calvin, you're in my heart for eternity. And we will make love till death do us apart, next lifetime, infinity and beyond. He kisses her on the cheek. Mia, I can't trust myself. I'm afraid of falling in love. My subconscious makes enemy out of my emotions. Calvin, sometimes, it feels like that, your subconscious mind is toying with your emotions. But William James, the father of American psychology, says, believe that life is worth living and your belief will help create the fact. Mia, life has drained everything out of my soul at such young age. I feel empty. I'm not that girl who once dreamed of becoming somebody. Confusion got the best of me. Calvin, confusion is nothing but a hidden order designed to guide life to a direction wherever it is heading. But the trick is you must always believe that you are bigger than life, and it's up to you to extract passion out of your aching heart and abstract soul, infuse it with your vision, create phenomenon every chance you get, and distinguish yourself from all living things. Ironically, that's all life can ask for out of you. And that's all you can ask for out of yourself. He kisses her on the shoulder. Mia, that's something. But how can you free yourself from misery? Sometime I see things that are not there. I constantly hear voices in my head. They are mean. They tell me things that I completely disagree with, negative things. But there is nothing I can do about it, but to suffer, and suffer more. Calvin, you are not bound to anything that causes you pain. Everything around us is illusion. If you can make peace with your soul, do it at all costs, and be the best version of yourself. But always remember you are more important than the creator that placed life in your soul. You always come first. He kisses her on the shoulder. Mia, sometimes, we need to believe in something that is divine, so we could be happy. Our souls are combating against invisible forces more malicious than sin itself. Calvin, that is true. He kisses her on the shoulder. Mia, nothing scares me more than the judgment days, figuratively speaking, like the fact that one day we all are going to die. New generation will take our places like we took the previous generation places. In the end, people that we love and care about will be gone. Some die in the middle. Some die at the beginning. Nothing lasts forever. That's why I hate to think further, one beat at a time. Death is the ultimate enemy of life. Calvin, perhaps, you just have to live the life you have always dreamed of, you know, make each second count till you are burnt out and consumed, give everything you have, be devoured with desire, vehemence and passion till something inside you yells, roars and explode, which is supposed to be neither disturbed nor boomed. That's the best weapon we have against death, or life that is doomed. Mia, that is deep. But I think we just have to open our hearts and fall in love madly and unconditionally. Love is the only chance we get for immortality. True love is a gift from the soul. No one can take that away from us. Calvin, humorously, my soul knows nothing but passion. You can always breeze into my heart and dance tango with my soul. I won't let you down. He kisses her on the shoulder. Mia, I don't know how to dance tango. I'm a ballerina. I would rather breeze in your heart, turn your red blood cells into ice, and dance ballet with your soul, pretending to be a figure skater till your blood melts back. And then float in your heart like a swan for the rest of my life. Calvin, you can always slice my heart, float on my blood, dance with my soul as long as you wish. But I didn't know you were extremely romantic. He kisses her on the shoulder. Mia, I tend to be affectionate, impractical and sweet when I am in love. Calvin, I don't believe you. Mia, how come? Calvin, you're the wildest girl I've ever met. Mia, have you thought about that? You bring the animal in me. Calvin, under his breath, tell me about it. He kisses her on the cheek. She rests on his chest, looking at his eyes. Mia, we're meant to be together. If you give me your heart, I'll set your soul on fire with the craziest love. Calvin, humorously, you've already set my soul on fire. I'll never be the same person again. He gives her a soft kiss on the lips. Mia, anyhow, I will name the fashion line that we talked about earlier, Heartthrob, after you. Calvin, I will be honored. They kiss French. She rests on his chest, facing the TV. There is a silent moment. Mia looks at Marilyn on the screen. Mia, do you think I'm more beautiful than Marilyn Monroe? Calvin, you're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever met. He kisses her on the shoulder. Mia, I want to be a star. I want to be more famous than Marilyn Monroe ever was. Calvin, you'll be more famous than Marilyn. You just have to believe in yourself. Mia, how I'm going to pass that sex scandal with you, and all those internet pornographies I did? They'll find out the truth and crucify me. Calvin, Hollywood loves scandal. You can use it for your advantage. You're more real than stuff that dreams are made of. He kisses her on the shoulder. Mia, my heart will never forgive me. Calvin, your heart is the first thing that will forgive you no matter what you do. He kisses her on the cheek. Mia, I had made a lot of mistakes. Calvin, don't worry about it. They said you need chaos to give birth to a dancing star. He kisses her on the cheek. Mia, humorously, I don't know about that. The last thing I need is chaos. That is a joke. But I doubt if I can offer to make any mistake. She turns around and gives him a soft kiss on the lips. Calvin, you can always take a comfort. You are my joy, gorgeous chaos that turns the snows in my heart into rose petals, and a miracle that puts the petals together, brings them into the fold till they form a fresh cut rose, and plants it in my soul with dew droplets and sparkling precipitations, of which love takes hold of a promise to kiss and to hold in sickness and in health, that two hearts shall always cry, sweat and beat as one, and flourishes in the birth of a new star. Thus the sun will burn out, and consume the moon and earth and all the planets in the solar system, but you shall embellish in immortal beauty and youth in my soul forever, untouched among the conflicts of stars and the destruction of the cosmos. Mia, that's sexy. They exchange soft kisses. Calvin, it's a little bit driven from Cato, a play by Joseph Addison. The stars shall fade away, the sun himself grow dim with age, and nature sink in years, but thou shalt flourish in immortal youth, unhurt amidst the wars of elements, the wrecks of matter, and the crush of worlds. Mia, that sounds intellectual, but I like yours. It's seductive. They exchange soft kisses. Calvin, maybe. But it's not original. Mia, do you have anything that is original? Calvin, a little poem. They exchange soft kiss. Mia, I want to hear it. He thinks for 3 seconds. He then. Calvin, I may have never known peace. But wished I could fly like a dove. No conflict but joy that never cease. Temptation and seduction lead me to rove. And make me vulnerable to enchanting tenderness. Scandalous emotions, and disposition to love. So, may gorgeous love be the punishment to my sin. Fever triumphs in my heart, which you let me win. Thou art alluring spell, the best has ever been. If it's not passion, your eyes and lips. Fetching pain and pleasure. A forbidden desire to my soul that accepts treasure, but decline vain and leisure. May erotic kiss have mercy on my soul that I tore. The angels say, it shall be left tender and sore. Only less, can I have you more? She smiles in beauty. Mia, yes, you can have me more. They kiss French. She then rests back on his chest. There is a silent moment. They continue to watch the movie. Mia, I'll play a femme fatale. People tend to forgive you if you play a bad girl, like Barbara Stanwyck in Double Indemnity. She is my favorite actress of all time. Calvin, I think you'll be phenomenon in romantic movies. Wait a minute. I have a gift for you. Calvin gets out of the tub, nude, puts on his soccer short. Calvin, I'll be right back. He heads toward upstairs, shirtless, climbing the staircase. Int. Calvin's house, private office, night. Calvin comes up to his desk and opens the drawer, revealing the same heart-shaped diamond necklace that we saw at the beginning of the movie. He grabs it. Calvin then sees a rose petal in the drawer. He sits at his desk, turns on his computer, laptop, and types the petal killer. He sees all kinds of articles on the petal killer. Calvin then looks at Rose Petals, Symbols, and Murder, a novel by Shailene Meyer. Calvin clicks the website and sees an attractive woman, the novelist, and the book title Rose Petals, Symbols, and Murder by Shailene Meyer, 32. He clicks a rose. The rose turns into petals. Each petal has the image of the victims. Then images of Calvin appear in the rose petals. Int. Calvin's house, living room, day. Mia continues to watch the movie while sipping red wine. Then someone rings the bell. Mia gets out of the bathtub, nude, and opens the door revealing Alicia. Mia, hi. Alicia, hi. There is an awkward moment. Mia, do you want to come in? Alicia, no, I just stopped by to see how he was doing. I'll talk to him some other time. Bye. Mia, bye. Alicia turns around and walks away. Mia closes the door. Calvin returns to the living room. Calvin, who was that? Mia, it was that FBI chick, Alicia. Calvin, under his breath, did she leave? Calvin runs down the living room, opens the door and exits. EXT Calvin's house, night. Calvin sees Alicia getting into her car and starting the engine. Calvin, wait, don't go. Alicia stops the engine and gets out of her car. She is calm. Alicia, what's she doing in your house? Calvin, I'm sorry. I was alone. I invited her to spend the night. Alicia looks at his eyes with tenderness. She then caresses his face with the back of her index finger in romance. It is obvious that she loves him more than life itself. Alicia wants to kiss him, so does he. She looks at his soul straight through his eyes. Alicia, you broke my heart, Calvin. She gets back to her car and starts the engine. Calvin, please don't go. She turns off the engine. Calvin gets closer to her lips, softly, I love you. I mean it. I love you till I can't take it anymore. I thought you didn't want to see me. He kisses her. She kisses him. They kiss more intimately. She then parts her lips seductively. Alicia, I must go. She starts her car, reverses out, and drives away. Calvin turns around and sees Mia, who is standing in the veranda. She has seen everything. Calvin walks up to her. Calvin, I think she is not happy to see you here. Mia, I don't care. She puts her arms around him. They kiss French. Calvin picks her up and takes her into the house. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, futuristic buildings, aerial view of New York City, and many more. Int. Q-Tech headquarter, Calvin's office, day. Calvin sits at his desk, working on his laptop. He looks like a wizard, writing codes as if they are revealing to him by divine intervention. Calvin compels the files and runs the application. Calvin's laptop screen, we see animation Calvin, that looks so real, walks through the thin air, accessing hidden dimension, comes to animation Alicia, who is standing in the beach and looking at ocean waves. Animation Alicia looks at animation Calvin. Animation Calvin pulls a red rose out of thin air, by her ear, like a magician, and gives animation Alicia the flower. Animation Alicia takes the flower. They get closer and kiss French. In the moment of passion, Alicia drops the rose on the sand. The ocean wave washes the rose from the shore as they continue to kiss. Int. FBI headquarter, main station, Alicia's desk, day. We are looking at Alicia's computer screen. Animation Calvin and animation Alicia continue to kiss. It looks like a video. The camera pulls out, and focuses on Alicia. She is enchanted by the animation, and doesn't know how he did it. It looks very real. There is a soft beautiful smile on her face. But she is not in the mood for sentimentality, turns off her computer, grabs her car key, gets up and leaves. On the soundtrack, new music comes. EXT/int. Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives in the street of New York City. On the soundtrack, the music continues to play soulfully. EXT Metropolitan Museum of Art, sunset. An established shot of Metropolitan Museum of Art in twilight. Int. Metropolitan Museum of Art, sunset. A quick take of some of the arts in the museum. Hokusai's The Great Wave off Kanagawa, Woman with a Water Jug by Johannes Vermeer, Ugolino and His Sons, Rodin Sculpture, Washington Crossing the Delaware by Emanuel Leutze, The Cloisters, Jan van Eyck, Crucifixion and Last Judgment Diptych, C 1430-40, Rogier van der Weyden, Polyptych with the Nativity, c. 1450, El Greco, View of Toledo, 1596, El Greco, The Opening of the Fifth Seal 1608-1614, Diego Velázquez, Portrait of Juan de Pareja 1650. Rembrandt, Aristotle contemplating the bust of Homer, 1653, Johannes Vermeer, Woman with a Lute, 1662, Francisco Goya, Majas on a Balcony, 1835. Metropolitan Museum of Art, Portrait of Madame X. Alicia stands at the gallery, gazing at Portrait of Madame X, 1884, by John Singer Sargent. Out of nowhere comes Calvin and stands next to her. She looks at him, turns her eyes, and continues to watch the painting silently. Calvin then. Calvin, what's up? Alicia, nothing much. There is another silent moment. He then. Calvin, Madame X Virginie Amélie Ave Gautreau. She was an American expatriate, who married a French banker named Pierre Gautreau, and became notorious in Parisian high society of the late 1800s for her beauty and infidelities. Alicia, do you think she's pretty? Calvin, she's exotic. She used to wear lavender powder and pride herself on her appearance. Alicia, you seem to know a lot about her. Calvin, I read it somewhere. Alicia, what else did you read? Calvin, a little poem. Alicia, what's it? Calvin, my heart said, let me tell you a lie. I who were made of the dirt of the earth. If I were created to sigh, I will never know bliss before breath. And if I were made to die, I'll never know kiss before death. Alicia, what does that mean? Calvin, I have no idea. There is a silent moment, they both gazing at the painting. She then. Alicia, how did you find me? Calvin, remote locating. Alicia, what's remote locating? Calvin, sixth sense, off her look, it's a gift that I was born with. There is a silent moment. They continue to watch the painting. She then. Alicia, did you follow me? Calvin, no, I didn't. I sensed that you would be here. It's intuition. Alicia, I wouldn't have minded if you had followed me. I like the idea of someone handsome like you stalking me. It's romantic. Calvin smiles softly. Calvin, I actually came to apologize. It won't happen again. Alicia, it's your life, Calvin. Do as you damn well please. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. They get closer and stand lips to lips. Calvin, softly down by her lips, my life means nothing without you. Alicia, tell me something poetic like. If I were created to sigh, I will never know bliss before breath. And if I were made to die, I'll never know kiss before death. They exchange soft kisses. Calvin, softly down by her lips. If looks could kill, you would have left me dead with a glance. But I wish you knew what you mean to my heart. That loves to race. And a soul that is sensitive to the slightest touch of beauty, allure, and grace. How much you're a part of me. That I lost without a trace. Places I would go to see your face. Things I'd do to kiss your sweet lips. And confess true love that defies time and space. And finally, when you think you have tasted everything there is to be tasted, and think clean, but felt passion that's tender and keen, I'll crawl under your skin, and plant kiss in your soul with a little bit sin. Make love to you till your kidneys spin. Don't even say my name. I will take the blame. Taint your heart with fever that put morning dew on roses in rainy seasons into shame. Enter you deep without a claim and aim, but tame. And set your soul on flame. Darling, let me take you to a place where no soul has ever been. And show you the magic mirror. Reflection of true love, God save my queen. Look at your image, feel the pain in my spleen. You are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. They exchange soft kisses. Alicia, that's romantic, or rather tempting. But what do you mean by without a claim and aim but tame? Calvin, I meant, without a claim but aim and tame. Alicia, I see. Calvin, it's supposed to be untamed, but that doesn't rhyme. Alicia, does it have to rhyme? Calvin, no, it doesn't. Or perhaps, I should have said, enter you deep, make you think love is a game, trick you that you win some, you lose none, but it's the same, we don't seek the truth but fame, and set your soul on flame. Alicia, that is impressive. I like that. They exchange soft kisses. Calvin, would you like to have dinner with me? I'll make it up to you. They kiss French. On the soundtrack, music plays melodiously. Another quick take of the paintings, J.M.W. Turner, The Grand Canal, 1835, Thomas Cole, The Oxbow, 1836, Vincent van Gogh, Self-Portrait with Straw Hat, 1887, Vincent van Gogh, Cypresses 1889, Paul Cézanne, The Card Players, 1890-1892, Claude Monet, The Four Trees, Four Poplars on the Banks of the Epte River near Giverny, 1891, Paul Gauguin, The Midday Nap, 1894, Claude Monet, The Houses of Parliament, Effect of Fog, 1903-1904, Pablo Picasso, Portrait of Gertrude Stein, 1906, Henri Matisse. The Young Sailor 2, 1906. Int. Sunset Restaurant, Night. It is a romantic 5-star restaurant. Calvin and Alicia sit at a table enjoying delicious meal, lobster macaroni, shrimp pasta, crab cakes, and salad with glasses of red wine. On the stage, a girl named Jasmine sings a love song. Alicia shows him the photo of Jane Reed. Alicia, what can you tell me about her? Calvin looks at the photo. Calvin, she was someone that I dated a long time ago. He gives her back the photo. Alicia, is that all? Someone that used to fuck a long time ago? Calvin, she has a special place in my heart if that helps you fall in love with me. Alicia, I heard she was engaged to Caleb Fox. What happened? Calvin, actually, the war between Caleb and me started with her. We both fell in love with the same girl. He was going out with her. But she ended up falling in love with me. We began to have an affair. Later, he hired a private detective and found out about it. We all drifted away. Alicia, where is she? Calvin, she ran away after Caleb threatened to kill her. She stopped calling me, cut all contacts with her friends. Alicia, do you think Caleb might have killed her and gotten rid of her body somewhere? Calvin smiles softly. Calvin, I doubt it. He loves her more than life itself. Alicia, do you know loving someone more than life itself is the #1 cause for murder mystery? Calvin, he didn't kill her. She's in Kenya. Alicia, what do you mean she's in Kenya? Calvin, she's a zoologist. She runs the largest national park in the world under the name of Vanessa Lions. I send her billions, to reserve all wild animals in their natural habitat. Alicia, why did you say that she stopped calling you? Calvin, she calls me once in a blue moon. She is moved on with her life. Alicia, how come she doesn't call her parents? Calvin, she has never called them for some reason. She reads his eyes. He is hiding something. Alicia, what is it? Calvin, she was a foster child. They adopted her. Alicia, so. Calvin, she saw them with another couple. Calvin doesn't want to tell her everything. It's not his business. Alicia, you're not talking about couple swapping, are you? Calvin, it's sexual generation. People turn to sex when they run into problems. Alicia, they might have misinterpreted Henry Ford's quote, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. Calvin, humorously I know what you mean, teamwork. Alicia, playing along maybe, too much teamwork isn't good for society. Calvin, she caught them doing it in the living room. She was young, and hated them. Alicia, she is old-fashioned. Calvin, I doubt it. She is quite sexual, deeply into S&M. I would go so far as to say she is erotic like my heartbeat. Alicia, so, what is the big deal? She should give them a call and let them know she is doing great. Calvin, she is overreacting. You know, she just wanted to disappear, play dead. She didn't want Caleb to find her. She thought he might have wired her parents' and friends' houses, and believed he was going to kill her. Alicia, he is dead. Does she know that? Calvin, probably. Alicia, what do you mean probably? Calvin, are you interrogating me? Alicia, do you have a problem with that? Calvin, no. Alicia, so, answer the question. Calvin, what is the question again? Alicia, I ask you if Jane knows that Caleb Fox is dead. You said probably. What is probably? Calvin, she was hiding from him. I guess it's practicality. You know, if you have been running most of your life from something that causes you terror, fear, and anxiety, you might want to keep yourself informed, God forbid, in case that person kicked the bucket, so you could sleep peacefully. There is a silent moment. Alicia looks at his eyes. She wants to ask him, did you kill Caleb Fox? Calvin can feel it on her lips. He breaks the tension quick-wittedly. Calvin, give her time, she will call them. Alicia, playing along, they missed her. Calvin, I know that, but she doesn't care. Alicia, why is that? Calvin, you want to hear the truth? Alicia, yes. Calvin, once upon a time, Jane was sleeping nude, which she loved to do. Her adopted father walked into her room without a single drop of cloth in the middle of the night, got in her bed sheets, and pursed his private part on her butt. He didn't rape her, or anything, yet made her touch his private part. She thought about screaming, instead, got up and asked him to leave her room politely. He exited the room without a word. Later, she told her adopted mother about it. Her adopted mother accused her seducing him. Jane just waited till she graduated from college, and shut them down completely. Alicia, that is sick. Calvin, anyhow, do you think the pedal killer is after me? Alicia, I don't know how he managed to get your fingerprint, DNA, hair sample, and semen. Calvin, I think he might have gotten my semen from sperm bank. I give them new sperm every 3 months to store it. In my will, it says, to use my DNA and create 2 babies, a boy and a girl after I die, you know, in case, if we're genetic mistake. Alicia, you're kidding? Calvin, no. I'm not kidding. I was watching Lions in the Discovery Channel produced by Jane. How a lioness protects her cubs. How young lions grow up, take over the pride, and kill the little cubs, and mate with several females. It got me thinking, if life is about passing your genes to the next generation. You know, we might have genes that use us to move information to the next generation like virus. Alicia, lions are wild animals. They don't think like us. There are millions of species that have their ways of surviving and thriving methods. Some die after mating. Others lose their penises during mating. Red-side garter snake, a female takes on hundreds of partners in a massive orgy. A black widow spider eats her mate. Male anglerfish clamps onto the female like a parasite and fertilize her when she's ready to lay eggs. Could Charles Darwin's sexual selection be the theme for life? Or there could be strange extraterrestrial life mating rituals throughout the universe that we might find fascinating. Calvin, I don't know anything about extraterrestrial life mating rituals. But life tends to guide you toward happiness. If you ignore it, you'll suffer. Alicia, do you really want to have children? Calvin, not right now, after I die. I am just stating the fact, you know, instinct versus conscious, nature versus nurture, or rather how they work together. Suppose you tell yourself, I want to be free. I do not want kids. Raising kids requires a lot of responsibility. But we're already programmed to produce. Your brain finds way to remind you what your purpose in life is. Maybe it's to keep civilization going. Or perhaps it's the pursuit of happiness. Or could it be having 2 or more kids, and may the chips fall where they may? Nonetheless, your subconscious takes over the second you slip up. You know, even though we're made of the same molecules, atoms, and particles created at the birth of the universe around 14 billion years ago, we're unique. There is nothing like us, and might never be one again. We have to do our best, pass that distinct personality to the next generation, and see how the future unfolds. Alicia, so, who's going to raise your children? Calvin, St. Mary Adaptation Center. I give them $30 million each year. When the children reach a certain age, they'll inherit my wealth. Alicia, that's crazy. Why don't you just settle and have children like regular people while you're still alive? Calvin, I'm still a kid in heart. I don't know how to raise a baby. Maybe, that's why my wife had an extra marriage affair in the first place. God rests her soul in peace. I hope you catch the pedal killer. Alicia, we'll get him. Calvin, what can you tell me about him, the pedal killer? Alicia, he's unpredictable. He's just waiting for you to make a mistake that you can't walk away from. He's following every footstep that you take. It seems he's a part of you. Calvin, that's scary. Are you going to catch him? Alicia, it's my #1 priority. Calvin gazes at her eyes intimately. He then. Calvin, last night, I had this bizarre dream. I was swimming in Atlantic Ocean. I saw 4 dolphins swimming alongside of me. The dolphins then turned into mermaids and began to dance around me seductively. Then, out of nowhere came this shark and tore the first mermaid apart. I tried to protect the other 3 mermaids. But I realized it was a shark. It could kill me easily as well. Yet, for some reason, the shark ignored me. He bit and killed second mermaid. It seemed he just wanted to kill them first and eat them later. I don't know what was in his mind. He moved around me dexterously and tore mermaid's #3 like a rag doll. I looked at the 4th mermaid. She looked exactly like you. The shark approached her, but she took out her gun and fired at the shark. The shark turned around and swam away. It disappeared. Yet, I had a gun wound in my chest. I was bleeding as if I were the shark that you shot. Alicia, that's weird. Calvin, I checked it in the internet. Dolphins are regarded as a symbol of happiness and pleasure. They symbolize connection, empathy, and felicity. A shark, on the other hand, is a dreadful predictor. It tears its prey savagely. Dreaming of a shark often means there is an immediate danger close to you. This powerful enemy has taken a hold of your soul. You can't run. You have to face it. And then again, mermaids symbolize letting our hearts and our passion overrule the analytical mind. Alicia, that's something. But I'm not in the mood for dream interpretation. I want you to make love to me right now, here. Alicia removes her underwear and puts it on the table. Calvin smiles softly. He grabs her underwear and puts it in his pocket. On the soundtrack, music play. EXT Sunset Restaurant, Terrace, Night. Alicia, who is sitting on a table, and Calvin, who is standing between Alicia's legs, kiss in the terrace. In the background, we see scenic view of New York City in its magnificence. A man named Richard plays piano. His eyes are covered. It seems Calvin has just reserved the place. The managers might have kicked out the customers, emergency. We see drinks and candlelight on some of the tables. There is firelight around the terrace. Calvin parts his lips and caresses Alicia's neck. Alicia opens his pant. Calvin removes his pant completely, then tears Alicia's dress and kisses her breasts. She kisses his neck. Calvin then pulls her legs, grabs her buttocks, and enters her as they begin to have sex. Close up, Alicia and Calvin. They kiss French as they continue to make love. Int. Calvin's house, bedroom, night. Calvin and Alicia make love surrounded by candles. It is sensual, seductive, steamy, and passionate. We see Alicia burning with sexual fever as Calvin enters her soul between her legs. She scratches his back with her nails. Calvin's skin bleeds. He just lets her have it. She is dying with sexual passion, having multiple orgasms. We stay with them with serious cuts as they continue to have hot passionate sex. EXT/int. Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives in the street of New York City. EXT Mia's house, day. An established shot of Mia house. We see police officers, media personalities, TV vans, law enforcement agencies' cars, paramedics, FBI, and bystanders moving in chaos. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving and parks her car in front of Mia's house. Alicia gets out of the car and walks toward the house as the police officers push aside the journalists who are asking her all kinds of questions. Int. Mia's house, living room, morning. The dead body of Mia lies on the floor. She is nude. Her throat is cut. We see the infamous signs on her body. Rose petals are sprinkled all over the crime scene. FBI forensic team Tyler and Megan collect evidence. Dr. James examines the body. Ryan takes photos. Mark takes a note. There are few more agents collecting evidence. Agent John Stewart can be seen collecting evidence. At the entrance, Alicia walks in. Mark approaches her. Mark, name Mia Carter. Date of birth April 16, 2060. She was beaten, raped, and her throat was slit. Time of death between 2:15 a.m. to 2:45 a.m. The forensic found Calvin's fingerprints on the murder weapon. Alicia, he couldn't have done it. I was with him last night. Mark, don't tell me you guys fucked for 6 hours again. Alicia, actually, we fucked for 9 hours. He couldn't have killed her while we were fucking, could he? Mark, so, how do you explain all these? We found his DNA all over the crime scene. Alicia, I think someone is trying to frame him. Mark, who would want to frame him? Alicia, why don't you tell me? I saw you talking to her the other day. Mark, what are you trying to say? You think I'm the rose petals killer? I killed her and planted incriminating evidence of your boyfriend? Alicia, did you? Mark, how can you say that, Alicia? We're friends. We're supposed to work as a team, instead of accusing each other. It's Calvin who killed her. Alicia, I was with him last night. The man is a sex machine. He kept me up all night. I didn't even take a nap. I got the call and came straight here. She puts on her medical gloves to examine Mia's dead body. Mark, we found his semen on her private part. If he didn't do it, who could have done it? Alicia, examining I think you got it wrong, Mark. How can he be two places at the same time? Mark, you just have to keep your eyes open. You're fucking a serial killer. I'll prove it one way, or another. Alicia, don't bother. It's my case. I want you to stay away from my crime scene. Mark, what are you talking about? Alicia, I'm asking you to leave. I saw you talking to her the other day. I watched her getting in your car. I'm not going to list the stuff you guys did. But you know what you did. I'm not accusing you planting evidence, or killing her yet. I'm asking you to stay away from my crime scene nicely. Mark, you're joking? Alicia, Mark. Please leave now. Otherwise I'll arrest you for obstruction of justice. Mark, I don't know what got into your head. He's not fucking your brain, is he? Alicia, turns to agents John Stewart. John, read him his right if he doesn't leave in 5 seconds. He's not supposed to come near 500 yards from the crime scene. She turns her attention back to the crime scene. John walks up to Mark to escort him out. John, just leave. It's not worth it. Mark, leaving to Alicia, you're making a big mistake. Alicia, I'll see you at Lucia coffee shop in 1 hour. Mark walks away without saying a word. Alicia continues to work on the crime scene. Alicia, to Dr. James, what's the cause of her death? Dr. James, she died of hypovolemia. Alicia continues to examine Mia's body. Alicia, was she raped? Dr. James, she might have been. A beat, it's crazy. We found over 30 DNA of different guys and girls in her house. Alicia, she was a professional prostitute so to speak. She seduced guys and girls, brought them to her house, slept with her prey while recording it secretly, and posted on web. Alicia walks into Mia's laptop and checks the hard drive. There is no disk. Alicia, whoever killed her knows about the video. He took the disk. Int. Lucia coffee shop, day. Mark sits at a table with a cup of coffee, reading news in his cell phone. Alicia walks in. Mark looks at her and puts his phone in his pocket. She comes up to Mark's table and sits in front of him. Alicia, where were you last night? Mark, I was home watching TV. Alicia, I saw her giving you a blowjob in the parking lot. Did you kill her? Mark, no, I didn't kill her. I brought her for questioning. The bitch seduced me into it. I felt bad. She was a witness. I stopped her in the middle. Alicia, you're not lying to me, are you? Mark, just save your breath. I know how the excitement works. Don't forget I'm an FBI agent. You should worry about your boyfriend. We have his DNA at the crime scene. It's a matter of time before we catch him. Alicia, I don't like repeating myself. But I was with him the whole time. Mark, you said you were with him when he killed Diana. Now you're saying you were with him when he killed Mia Carter. Mark takes out crime scene photos of Shailene Meyer from his file. Mark, here, this is Shailene Meyer 36. Gives the photos to Alicia. She was found dead 3 days ago, in Boston, raped, stabbed, and branded with the same symbols. Ms. Meyer wrote an unauthorized biography of Calvin Sebastian titled Rose Petals, Symbols, and Murder. The Boston homicide found Calvin's fingerprints on the murder weapon. They found his semen in her vagina cavity. Mark takes out crime scene photos of Sandra Solomon from his file. Mark, here this is Sandra Solomon 32. CEO of SLHD. He gives her the photos. Mark, she was found lifeless 2 weeks ago, at her lake house in Toronto, stabbed and branded with symbols. The Canadian police found Calvin's fingerprints on the murder weapon. If he didn't kill them, he must have hired someone to do it. Maybe he hired 2 or more professional contract killers to murder them, and plant incriminating evidence of himself to throw us off. So, we doltishly question, he couldn't possibly be multiple places at the same time, could he? Alicia looks at photos more and returns them back to Mark. Alicia, the forensics found your DNA at the crime scene. Is there anything you want to tell me? Mark, okay, I'll confess. I had sex with her last night. But she was alive when I left. Alicia, what time did you leave? Mark, around 2 a.m. Alicia, why didn't you tell me that before? Mark, it doesn't make a difference. I'm telling you now. Someone must have come after I left. He beat, raped and murdered her. We pull out dexterously as they continue to talk. Int. FBI headquarters, medical room, morgue, day. We see the body of Mia on the medical table. Alicia and Dr. James talk. Dr. James, the semen in her vagina cavity matched with Calvin's DNA. Alicia, is it possible someone might have planted it there? Dr. James, it's possible. But less likely. Semen that is kept frozen usually shows blue between 2.4 to 4 in the detector. We found fresh semen that reads red 9.6. Which is secreted during sexual intercourse. Alicia, it doesn't make any sense. I was with him the whole time. Dr. James, we also found Mark's semen in her anus. Alicia, he said he had sex with her. But she was alive when he left. Dr. James, do you believe him? Alicia, I don't know who to believe, or who to trust. Alicia looks at something on Mia's right breast. Alicia, what's that on her breast? Dr. James, it's a cigarette burn. It's new. Alicia has a flashback. Int. Bar and club, night, flashback. Mark and Alicia sit at a table with glasses of whiskeys, conversing. Then a girl named Rebecca walks up to Mark. Rebecca, I can't believe it. Is that you, Leo? I thought you were dead. Mark, I'm Mark. You must have mistaken me with some other guy. Rebecca, little bit drunk, are you sure? You guys look twins, Leo Ford. He was Heartthrob. We went to St. Patrick High School together in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I don't mean to be rude. But he burned my breast with a cigarette. She collects her shirt and shows them her breast that has a cigarette burn. Rebecca, it hurt like a witch, but I loved it like hell. Mark, why don't you just beat it, bitch? Don't you see I'm with someone? Rebecca is embarrassed and walks away. Alicia, what's she talking about? Mark, I have no idea. She must have mistaken me with some guy that she used to fuck. I hate when people get drunk and mistake you with other persons. It gets on my nerves. Alicia, you could have told her that nicely, instead of calling her bitch. Mark, well, I guess I'm not a nice person after all. Alicia, is that supposed to offend me? Mark, does it offend you? Alicia, nice guys finish last. Alicia doesn't know why she said that. Perhaps, she is a little bit offended by the idea of a woman flashing her breasts on a man whom she is with. Alicia, maybe, she deserved it. But don't you think you might have taken it too far this time? Mark, my father used to say, if you are so worried about how your fart is going to smell, don't eat the egg. Eat the chicken. I never understood what it means. He takes a big sip from his whiskey. Int. FBI headquarters, library, day, present. Alicia sits behind a computer and looks at Leo Ford's profile in her computer. She types Leonardo Ford, St. Patrick High School, Louisiana, Baton Rouge. List of names appear on the screen. She then types Leonardo Ford sexual assault and checks the result. We see the photo of Mark on the computer. It reads, Leonardo Ford, a student at the University of Tallahassee, is accused of rape, etc. ext/int. Alicia's convertible, moving, night. Alicia drives in the streets of New York City, looking at Leonardo Ford's record. ext Alicia's convertible, moving, night. An established shot of Alicia's car driving in the streets of New York City. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City in the night, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, aerial view of New York City, millions of cars driving in the streets of New York City and others. ext Alicia's house, night. An established shot of Alicia's house. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving and parks her car in front of her house. She gets out of her car and walks toward the house. Int. Alicia's house, living room, night. Alicia walks in. She smells cooking, mouth-watering and scrumptious. She thinks it is Calvin. Alicia puts the file on a table, removes her underwear and walks toward the kitchen, smiling sweetly. Alicia's house, kitchen. Mark is preparing food, lobster casserole, chicken marinade and grilled chicken and rice. He has a gun on his hand. Alicia looks at him. Her smile disappears from her face, and darkness grabs her heart like bad omen. She is surprised to see him, but collects her composure. Mark, hi. Alicia, hi, Leonardo Ford. Mark, I knew you were going to check my background and find the truth. What gave me away? Alicia, the cigarette burn on her breast. Mark, that's just foreplay. But before you come to any conclusion, I've changed for the better. I'm a different person. I have wrestled with my demons for years and gotten my life in the right track. I worked my ass off to become FBI. Don't take that away from me. I'm not the petal killer. I didn't kill Mia Carter. Alicia, it's good you mention her name. You seem to care about her a lot. Mark, of course I care about her. I'll find the petal killer, curve his heart out, and feed it to a dog. Alicia, that's good. We're in the same page. Mark, let's cut to the chase. What did you really find out? Alicia, I checked your background. Your real name is Leonardo Ford. Born June 15, 2050. In 2070, you were accused of rape, but the case was dropped after the victim refused to testify against you. Then, in 2071, you were the prime suspect of the disappearance of Samantha Cole, a girl that you were dating. Later, her body was found in the swamp in Miami. Followed by in 2073, the rape and murder of a Tallahassee student. Lana Williams, her body was found in a motel, mutilated, with a red rose inside her abdomen. Since she was promiscuous, they couldn't prosecute you, despite the fact they found your semen in her vagina. The cases went cold. Meanwhile, you moved to Seattle and took your cousin's name Mark Morris who was dying of cancer. He provided you with social security number and birthday information, took your name, and died in 2075. His body got incriminated. It didn't take you that long. You applied for FBI job in Chicago and got accepted. You then transferred to New York City, and blended in with wolves and foxes without anyone suspecting anything. Mark, that's pretty good. I knew you were the best FBI agent in the nation, but I didn't know you were going to dig that out. I erased most of it from the record. I have to give you props. Alicia, I was just doing my job. I doubt I deserve any credit whatsoever. Mark, anyway, I made you dinner, lobster casserole, chicken marinade, and grilled chicken. It's done. You can sit. Alicia turns around to walk to the dinner table. Mark, just wait a second. Leave your gun on the counter. Alicia takes out her gun and places it on the counter. Mark, have a seat. Kitchen and dining room. The dining room is part of the kitchen. Alicia sits at the table. Mark places lobster casserole, chicken marinade, and grilled chicken thigh on a plate that has rice, and comes up to the dinner table with the meal. Mark places the meal in front of Alicia while pointing his gun at her. Alicia, where is your meal? Mark, I've already eaten. Alicia, how do I know it's not poison? Mark grabs the fork, takes a piece from the lobster casserole, and eats it. Mark, it's not poison. If I want to kill you, I'll just shoot you between your eyes. Alicia, I got your point. Alicia begins to eat. Mark pours a wine in Alicia's glass. Alicia takes the drink and has a sip. There is a silent moment. She then. Alicia, so, how are we going to do this? Mark, that's a good question. Life throws you curveballs. You just have to swing the bat cleverly. If you have to foul, foul here and there like a bad habit, but always keep yourself in the game. And when it throws you a fastball, swing as hard as you can. If you get strikeout, that's too bad, at least you would tell yourself I gave it everything I have, but if you make a contact, hit it out of the ballpark and redeem yourself. Alicia, what does that mean? Mark, it means nothing. I just want to sound smart. But Babe Ruth once said, every strike brings me closer to next home run. Alicia, I hear you. Yogi Berra said, it's like deja vu, all over again. But I like it ain't over till it's over. Mark, maybe life is like a World Series, Game 7. It's always the bottom of 9, 2 out, full count. Let's make it more exciting, you are down 3-0. The base loaded. The pitcher is on deck, next in line to bat. Home run wins the game. Triple ties it. But the man on the first base is the devil. He is betting on the game. He won't run home, would stop on third, pulled muscle on his leg, fake cramp. You had seen it in your dream. Triple is not option. Home run is the only possibility. Now, let's see if it makes sense. Life throws you curveballs. You must swing the bat cleverly. If you must foul, foul here and there like a bad habit, but always keep yourself in the game. And when it throws you a fastball, swing as hard as you can. If you get strikeout, that's too bad, game over. You find yourself 6 feet under, at least you would tell the devil in hell, I gave it everything I have, but if you make a contact, hit it out of the ballpark, and redeem yourself. You win the game. You prevail the day. Yet, you face the same nightmare tomorrow. It just occurred to me when you mentioned Yogi Berra's quote, it's like deja vu, all over again. Alicia, it doesn't have to be a nightmare, doesn't it? Mark says nothing. There is a silent moment. He then. Mark, did the Bureau know about my true identity? Alicia, I told Matt. They're looking for you at this moment. They just want to talk to you. Mark, what should I do? What advice do you have for me? Alicia, I think the smartest thing to do is to put down your gun and surrender to me. Mark, yeah right. They'll give me 25 to life. I would rather blow out my brain to pieces than spend a day in prison. Alicia, I think you'll have to trust your conscience. Reason always upheavals irrationality. You are a smart person and should handle the matter professionally. You know, it's beyond your control now. They can let you walk, get first base in purpose, take 1 run. The game would be 3-1. Then, they can easily strike out the pitcher and win the game. Mark, I didn't know you knew baseball. Alicia, it's not that hard to figure the game out. Mark, I hate prison. Alicia, we don't always choose what we love and hate. We just go with it till we figure out what has gone wrong with our brain that has more connection than the stars in the universe. We troubleshoot the error, fix the problem, and then do whatever we want. Mark grabs the well-rounded chicken thigh from the plate with his hand, eats everything, puts the bone on the table. Mark, I guess if you are so worried about how your fart is going to smell, don't eat the egg. Eat the chicken. I still don't know what it means. There is a silent moment. Mark looks deep into her soul through her eyes. She looks at him back without a fear. He then. Mark, okay, you win. I will walk to the first base and hope the pitcher is Babe Ruth. He was not only a great batter, but also one of the best pitchers of his period. But I doubt if he was a great lawyer unless of course we are speaking in parables metaphorically. Alicia says nothing. Mark puts down his gun on the table. There is another silent moment. She then. Alicia, on the count of 3, I'm going to take that gun and read you right if you don't mind. Mark, not at all. Alicia, 1, 2, 3. She grabs the gun, gets up, and points at him. Alicia, you're under arrest for the rape and murder of Mia Carter, and numbers of charges that I don't have time to address. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You piece of shit. You're going to rot in prison. She removes the table, crashing everything on the floor like Jules, played by Samuel Jackson, in Pulp Fiction. Alicia, I should just empty this gun in your dick and watch you cry like a hyena, cunt. Mark claps his hands in disappointment. He reaches into his pocket and shows her the bullets. The gun is empty. Mark drops the bullets on the floor, quickly gets up and tackles her. The gun falls out of her hand like it doesn't matter. Mark puts his hands around her neck and begins to strangle her. Alicia struggles to breathe. She fights him off. But Mark is strong like the devil. He is about to squeeze the life out of Alicia. Her right hand searches for something as Mark continues to choke her. Alicia's right hand finds a knife. She grabs the knife and stabs Mark in the neck and arm multiple times. Alicia sticks the knife in Mark's neck, pushes him off, gets up and runs to the kitchen. Mark pulls the knife out of his neck. Blood gashes out of his neck like hell. He holds his neck and goes after Alicia with the knife. Alicia quickly grabs her gun and shoots Mark in the heart. Mark lies on the floor and dies at the spot immediately. Alicia takes a deep breath and looks at him in confusion. EXT Alicia's house, night. We see FBI agents, police officers, federal and law enforcement agencies' cars, an ambulance. 2 FBI paramedics come out of the house pushing Mark's dead body with a medical stretcher and place it in the ambulance. Int. Alicia's house, night. Alicia gives reports to Agent Victoria Pierce and Agent Jason Little. In the background, we see agents and forensics team writing report and collecting evidence. Agent Victoria Pierce, what were you guys talking about? Alicia, I don't remember, just bad politics in baseball. Agent Jason Little, you said he was already in your house. Did you give him the key? Alicia, I've already told you. I don't know how he got into my house. I found him cooking in the kitchen. Later, he tried to strangle me. I reached for the knife, stabbed him in the neck, got my gun from the kitchen, and shot the son of a bitch. Agent Victoria Pierce, is that self-defense? Alicia, whatever you want to call it, sweetheart. He's dead. I killed him. Special Agent Matt walks up to the circle. Special Agent Matt, to Victoria and Jason, leave her alone. That's enough. Victoria and Jason nod their heads and walk away. Special Agent Matt, are you okay? Alicia, I'll be fine. Special Agent Matt, you can take a break if you want to. Victoria and Jason will take over till you collect your thoughts. Alicia, it's cool. I got everything under control. I'm going to Baltimore. I have to check something. Special Agent Matt, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. You should get some sleep. You can take the helicopter when you come to the bureau. Alicia, it's okay. I'll take my car. It's only a 5-hour drive. Alicia walks toward the exit. EXT Alicia's house, Alicia's convertible, night. Alicia comes up to her car, gets behind the wheel, starts the car, and drives away. Int. Alicia's convertible, moving, night. Alicia drives in streets of New York City. There is a file in the passenger seat. It's the pedal killer file. Alicia opens the file. We see the profile of Calvin. Alicia looks at it as she continues to drive. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, night. An established shot of Alicia's car as it drives in streets of New York City. Montage Maryland. We see the best of Maryland, Baltimore Inner Harbor, National Aquarium, Eastern Shore, Annapolis City Dock, C&O Canal National Historic Park, Deep Creek Lake, National Harbor, Historic Ellicott City and many more. EXT Rachel's house, studio, day. Alicia questions Rachel, Calvin's artist aunt. She is painting an abstract portrait of Calvin, dark side and light side, on a canvas from her imagination while answering Alicia's questions. Rachel, painting, Calvin was 12. I think he might have killed his abusive stepfather Jake Silva, who was beating my sister. Witnesses said they saw Calvin at school. But the police has found his fingerprint on the murder weapon. Rachel stops painting, takes out a cigarette from a cigarette box, lights it, and smokes, facing Alicia. Rachel, Mary said she killed Jake in self-defense to protect her son. She was sentenced 10 years in prison. Calvin moved in with me. Later, she died of breast cancer after serving 4 years. You know, I never understood Calvin. Once, I saw him with a girl named Jessica. They spent the whole day at the house, Calvin painting Jessica portrait at my studio. EXT Rachel's house, studio, day, flashback. A girl named Jessica, 17, poses nude on the sofa. Young Calvin does her portrait. Rachel, voiceover the next day, 2 police officers came to the house and asked me where Calvin was. They said a boy named Maxwell Small was found murdered. Maxwell was Jessica's boyfriend. I thought Calvin couldn't have done it. There was no way. He was with Jessica at the studio the whole time. EXT Rachel's house, studio, day, present. Back to, Alicia and Rachel. Rachel, but later, I found blood on his shirt. I didn't have the heart to show the shirt to the police. So, I burned it in order to protect him from the law. I don't know why I am telling you this. Rachel walks up to a table, grabs a notebook. Rachel, this is Mary's diary. You can keep it. Rachel gives the notebook to Alicia. EXT Baltimore Inner Harbor, day. Alicia sits at a table and reads Mary's diary. Insert, Mary's diary, I'm proud of my son. He means everything to me. I live and breathe for him. I don't know what I would do without him. Each day, I pray to God to give him strength, hope, and faith. I got married young. I remember the first time I saw Vincent, the father of my child, I knew my life would never be the same again. All I can say is God works in mysterious ways, etc. Int. Johns Hopkins University, Library, day. Alicia sits behind a computer and searches for Calvin's father. His name is Vincent Sebastian. In the computer, it reads, Vincent Sebastian is a scientist, a leading quantum physicist, invented the first teleportation machine that teleports 2 or more atoms to a remote location. Vincent Sebastian won a Nobel Prize in 2046, etc. Alicia sees a photo of Vincent Sebastian and a fellow scientist named Morgan Lee. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives in the evergreen part of Maryland. EXT University of Maryland College Park, day. Various shots of the University of Maryland College Park. EXT University of Maryland, Morgan's office, day. Alicia questions Morgan Lee, 63. Morgan, Vincent designed QV, quantum vision that measures the exact state of particles. Each measurement shows that a particle can be anywhere, depends on the observant. Suppose if I look at a particle through QV, a particle can be at -5, 6. When people, who has blue eyes, observe it, it's 9, -16. When people with eyeglasses observe it, it's -14, 6, etc. It varies person to person. Yet when he observed a particle, the particle was found multiple places at the same time. It didn't have a definite position. Is it because he designed the machine, all of a sudden, the particle grew consciousness and decided to be multiple place at the same time? Or a single particle can exist in multiple place in quantum universes that are hidden from our sight? Under those circumstances, these hidden dimensions revealed to him for some unknown reason. Nobody has the answers. Of course, later, he designed the first teleportation machine that teleports 2 or more atoms connected by a chemical bond to a remote location and won a Nobel Prize. But when I tell this story to people, nobody believes me. You see, Vincent is unique. When he gets angry, he can be multiple places at the same time. A true story, 2 men once approached Vincent at a bar while he was talking to a girl. Int. Baltimore bar, night, flashback. Young Morgan and young Vincent sit at the bar drinking beers. A beautiful girl named Rita Cage, 24, sit at the bar across young Morgan and young Vincent. Young Vincent excuses young Morgan and approaches Rita. Young Vincent introduces himself to Rita. They greet and strike up a conversation. 2 men approach young Vincent. Morgan, voiceover they told him that she was with him and started a fight. Young Vincent grabs his beer and crashes it on man 1's head. Man 2 punches Vincent on the face. They start a bar fight. Young Morgan runs to help his friend. They all go at it, punching and kicking. EXT University of Maryland, Morgan's office, day, present. Back to, Morgan and Alicia. Morgan, I tried to defend my friend. Securities kicked Vincent and me out of the bar. Later, someone beat the 2 men inches to death while we were sitting another bar. The police arrested Vincent. One lost an eye, and his ribs were broken badly. The other, his jaw got shattered into 50 places. Vincent spent 6 months in jail, despite the fact I testified that he was with me at the time of the incident. Morgan continues to talk. We pull out the office dexterously. Int. Alicia's convertible, moving, day. Alicia drives back to New York City. Alicia, talking on a recorder a little known about Calvin's father, Vincent Sebastian. He left them when Calvin was 4, later disappeared from the face of the earth. There is a rumor he's in Russia working on supersymmetry. The Russian kidnapped him to make the deadliest antimatter weapon known to mankind that could turn the moon into dust. I supposed that is a rhetorical expression. Or he could be dead. He was diagnosed with lung cancer. However, his close friend Morgan said he beat the cancer. Or could he be the rose petal serial killer? He shares similar DNA with his son Calvin Sebastian. But that is still a long shot. Nonetheless, there is something mystery about Calvin Sebastian and his whole family. According to witnesses, close friends and relatives, Calvin Sebastian could be Alicia doesn't know what to say next. She thinks for seconds, then shakes her head, disregarding her thought, stops the recorder, puts it aside, and focuses on the road. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, day. An established shot of Alicia convertible as she continues to drive in the freeway of Maryland. Montage, New York City. A quick take of New York City, satellite view of New York City from space, Midtown Manhattan, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, United Nations Headquarters, Times Square, Unisphere in Queen, futuristic buildings, aerial view of New York City in the night, millions of cars driving in the streets of New York City and many more. EXT Mia's house, night. An established shot of Mia's house. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving and parks her cars in front of Mia's house. We see yellow crime scene tapes. Alicia gets out of the car and walks toward Mia's house. Int. Mia's house, living room, night. Alicia searches for a videotape that Mia might have recorded secretly. She looks at Mia's DVD collection at a DVD shelf. She then opens a drawer and sees a laptop. Mia's house, living room, minutes later. Alicia sits at a table, checks the files in Mia's laptop. She types Calvin Sebastian in search programs and files. She finds nothing. Alicia then sees a toy panda sitting on the counter, at Mia's private bar. She notices there is a video camera inside the panda. Alicia gets up, grabs the panda, and goes to the kitchen. Kitchen. Alicia opens the kitchen drawer, grabs a sharp knife, tears open the panda. Alicia removes the camera from the panda and takes out the disc from the camera. Int. Alicia's convertible, night. Alicia places the disc in her laptop and plays the video. She sees Mia and Mark having sex at the living room. Alicia watches it a little bit and forwards the video. Mark then leaves the house. Alicia forwards the video a little bit more. Later, Mia opens the door. Calvin enters with a red rose. Mia seems happy to see him. She puts her arms around him. They kiss French. He then drops the rose and pushes her away violently. Mia says, "What's wrong with you?" Calvin slaps her. Mia turns on by his violent reaction. Mia approaches Calvin seductively. They kiss with tongues. Calvin then parts his lips and headbutts her on the nose. Mia holds her nose bleeding and crying. Calvin punches her across the face. He pulls her hair, turns her around and forces her into rough sex as she cries. Yet Mia seems into it. She is saying "fuck me hard," and talking all kind of dirty things. Calvin fucks the hell out of her. Calvin then takes out his knife and slits her throat as he comes inside her. Calvin removes her clothes and places the symbols on her body with the knife. He then drops the knife, grabs the rose, and sprinkles the petals on Mia. Alicia pauses the video. She is shocked, doesn't know what is going on. Alicia tries to put the pieces together in her mind. Quick flashback, Calvin was making love to Mia when he killed his wife Sarah and her lover Robert. Calvin was with Alicia when he killed Diana. Calvin was with Cecilia when he killed Amber. He was with Alicia when he killed Mia. Calvin is a quantum freak. He is quantum killer, like a particle, he can be multiple places at the same time. Back to Alicia. Alicia doesn't know how it is happening. She is confused. This can't be real. Then, out of nowhere a police officer named David, NYPD, comes behind Alicia and flashes his flashlight at her. Alicia stops breathing. She thought it was Calvin for a second. David, is there anything wrong, miss? Alicia collects her composure, keeps calm, and shows David her FBI's badge. Alicia, just leave me the fuck alone. David walks away without saying a word. Alicia is upset. The love of her life is a psychopathic killer. She puts her laptop aside, starts her car, and drives away. EXT Alicia's convertible, moving, night. Alicia drives in the streets of New York City. EXT Calvin's house, night. An established shot of Calvin's house. Alicia's convertible. Alicia comes driving, parks her car in front of Calvin's house, takes out her gun from her holster, and makes sure it's loaded. Alicia gets out of the car and walks toward the house. Int. Calvin's house, living room, night. Calvin sits at the coffee table working on his laptop. He then turns his eyes and sees Alicia who is standing at the living room. Calvin, hi, honey. Alicia says nothing. Calvin continues to work on his laptop finishing up whatever he was doing in hurry. He shuts down his laptop, puts it aside, and gets up from the sofa. Calvin notices Alicia is not happy. Calvin, what's going on? Alicia looks at him in despair. Alicia, why, Calvin? Calvin, has no clue what she is talking about. What's it? Alicia, why did you do it? Calvin, did what? Alicia, why did you kill them? Calvin, killed who? Alicia, you know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend you are innocent. Calvin, I don't know what you are talking about. Alicia, you killed your wife and her lover. You killed Diana. You killed Amber. You killed Mia. I don't know how many people you killed. Calvin, I didn't kill anyone. He begins to approach her. Alicia, don't fucking move. She quickly draws her gun at him. Calvin, come on, Alicia. Don't do this. I love you. Alicia, if you take another step, I swear I'll shoot you. Calvin, you don't mean it, do you? He moves toward her. Alicia shoots him in the arm. Calvin, fuck. Holds his arm. You shot me. Alicia, tell me the truth. Calvin, what truth? Alicia, why did you kill them? Calvin, I swear I don't remember anything. You could call it split personality, whatever it's beyond my control, as if another person were committing the murder. It is like a nightmare. I only remember them after they happened. I'm not doing it. Out of nowhere comes Quantum Calvin and hits Alicia in the head. Alicia falls on the floor unconscious. Her gun comes out of her hand. Quantum Calvin takes Alicia's gun and sets to shoot her. Calvin quickly pushes Quantum Calvin, knocking the gun out his hand. Quantum Calvin and Calvin begin to fight. Quantum Calvin punches Calvin across the face. Calvin falls on the floor. Quantum Calvin kicks Calvin on the stomach. Calvin holds Quantum Calvin's leg and drops him on the floor. Quantum Calvin grabs the gun from the floor and shoots Calvin in the chest. Calvin falls on the floor. He seems dead. Quantum Calvin comes up to Alicia, kicks her on the head, then drops the gun, takes out his knife and cuts her dresses. Quantum Calvin rips her underwear, opens her legs, loosens his pant, gets between her legs, and enters her, forcing her into sex. Alicia comes out of unconscious in time and fights him off. Quantum Calvin punches her on the face and continues to rape her. Alicia pushes him off, punches his face and kicks him in the nut. Quantum Calvin stabs her in the arm. Alicia screams like a little girl. She kicks him on the face, escapes from Quantum Calvin, crawling with her knees. Alicia grabs her gun, turns around and shoots Quantum Calvin in the neck as he is about to stab her with his knife. Quantum Calvin dies on the spot. Then, his body disappears mysteriously. Alicia comes up to Calvin, who is lying with wounds to his chest and arm. There is a new wound in his neck as well. Blood is gushing out of Calvin's neck. Alicia, Calvin. She quickly takes off her shirt, places it on his neck and tries to stop the blood. Alicia, wake up, Calvin. It's over. Alicia cradles him in her arms. Calvin opens his eyes and looks at her eyes. Alicia's eyes are filled with tears. Alicia, I'm sorry. I should have believed you. Calvin, under his breath, I love you. I would have never hurt you. Alicia, I love you too. She kisses his lips. Calvin closes his eyes. Alicia, Calvin. Wake up. She gives him CPR and chest compression. Calvin is gone. Alicia looks at Calvin with tenderness. Tears escape from her soul and fall on Calvin's lips. Alicia kisses Calvin on the lips intimately. There is tear in her eyes. We can feel the pain in her heart. The end.